Chapter 653. Lu Mingyuan looked at the small hand that was holding his fist. He looked up and saw her smiling eyes. I'll return your words back to you. Next time, you better understand your opponent before you make a decision. I'm not an ordinary soul master. Other than soul master, I'm also a physique refiner. Today you're definitely going to lose. Sima Yue said with a smile. She then used her strength to twist Lu Mingyuan's hand around. Then she waved her right hand and punched him, knocking him to the ground. Sima Yue immediately followed up. Unexpectedly, the other party was not slow either. Although he took a punch, he quickly turned over and dodged Sima Yue's next kick. At the same time he stood up. The two of them once again faced each other. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at Sima Yue cautiously. He didn't expect that he would be defeated so miserably in this round. Not only was her strength equal to his, she also walked the path of body refinement. Moreover, she was better than him. His advantages were useless in front of her. The people in the audience were also stunned by this result. She actually injured Lu Mingyuan? The way many people looked at her changed. At this moment, in their eyes, she was no longer a freshman, but a strong opponent. Residential area, come out. Lu Mingyuan snorted and considered Sima Yue to be on the same level as him. He did not intend to hide his strength. Since he could not defeat her quickly with his spiritual power and physical strength, he would use his partner. Hiss, hiss, a huge python appeared in the arena, occupying almost the entire arena. Its bucket-thick body stood beside Lu Mingyuan. One man and one beast were quite compatible. A third-level sacred beast was considered a rare contract beast among ordinary people. Do you think that you're the only one with a sacred beast? Seeing Lu Mingyuan's proud look, Fatty Chu and the others on the viewing platform said contemptuously. Tang Yin glanced at Fatty Chu. Although he didn't recognize Fatty Chu, he recognized Sima Yuran and the others beside him. It seemed that this group of people were with him. Chongming, come out and play with the little snake. After Sima Yue finished speaking, a Chongming bird appeared in everyone's sight. After Chongming came out, the python on the opposite side immediately shrank back in fear. Chongming, be careful. Don't let them kill you. Sima Yue said. Chongming flapped its wings, grabbed the python and took it into the air. Lu Mingyuan was stunned when he saw his python being taken away. Captain Lu, it's very dangerous to be in a daze at this time. Sima Yue reminded him kindly, if you have any other tricks, you'd better use them now. Otherwise, don't say that you didn't try your best later. Lu Mingyuan was choked by Sima Yue's words. He steeled his heart and called out another sacred beast. The last time he returned to the clan had secretly made him contracted. No one else knew about it. It was a preparation for his goal of rushing into the top 30 in the 3 great conventions. Who would have thought that he would be forced to reveal it in advance today? However, compared to exposing his strength, being defeated by a freshman in front of so many people was even more unbearable. This Lu Mingyuan actually has 2 sacred beasts. He hid them well in the past. Tang Yin commented as he waved his fan. Looks like he's preparing for the 3 great conventions. Emobin opened his mouth. I don't know what she'll do. It's not easy to deal with Lu Mingyuan and his sacred beasts alone. Tang Yin said. She's not panicking. Emobin looked at Sima Yue and believed that she had her own way. Sima Yue looked at the second sacred beast and smiled. 1,000 Resonance, come and play with him. I'll say the same thing again. Don't kill him. 1,000 Resonance came out with its 8 tails wide open. It did not give the opponent a chance to be surprised as it pounced forward. 6th Captain Lu, are there any more? Lu Mingyuan looked at the smile on Sima Yue's face and felt that it was extremely dazzling. He condensed his spirit energy and attacked her. Sima Yue flew forward and the two of them fought from the ground to the air and from the air back to the ground. It had to be said that Lu Mingyuan still had some fighting power. With the two of them attacking together, Sima Yue was unable to take him down. The audience was stunned by the dazzling battle between the two. The members of the Thunderbolt Club saw that she could actually fight with their captain for so long and felt a chill in their hearts. It turned out that she had really been merciful to them before. Although the others saw that they were evenly matched, Lu Mingyuan knew that he was not having an easy time. He had already used all his strength, but the opponent was still holding back. Ping! Sima Yue kicked Lu Mingyuan's body, causing him to fall to the ground. When he got up, a long sword was already placed on his neck. You've lost. Lu Mingyuan unwillingly lowered his head, indicating that he had already admitted defeat. Then you must remember the agreement and restrain your members. Sima Yue said as she looked at the people below the stage. The members of the Thunderbolt Club subconsciously shrunk their necks when she glanced at them. They thought that the opponent was easy to bully, but they did not expect that she was someone they could only look up to. She took back Ling Long, turned and walked down the stage. At the same time when she stepped down, Lu Mingyuan's 2 sacred beasts were beaten to his side. There was no danger to their lives, but they looked very dispirited and were beaten badly by their opponents. Yu, Bei Gong Tang and the others had been waiting for her at the exit. I think the members of the Thunderbolt Club will not dare to trouble us openly. You have to be careful of what they do behind our backs. If we set up a club, the target will be bigger. Sima Yue said. Don't worry with your battle today, they won't dare to do anything to us. Sima Yuchi said. Let's go back. I'm hungry. Little Seven didn't like so many people and grabbed Sima Yue's hand. Okay. Sima Yue lowered her head and smiled at her. We have been out for a long time, our little Seven is hungry. Let's go back. Big brother, we will go back first. The matter of establishing the team will be handed over to you. Don't worry. Sima Yuchi said. Little Seven, let's go. We won today. Let's go back and make delicious food for Little Seven. Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand and nodded to everyone. The others also went out one after another, leaving some people behind thoughtfully. Did you see clearly just now? The child beside Sima Yue, is it really her? Tang Yen forgot to fan himself with the fan in his hand and stared blankly at Sima Yue's back as she left. Mo Bin also felt a little unbelievable, but he nodded affirmatively. You didn't see wrong, it is her. How did Little Seven get together with Sima Yue? And it seems that Sima Yue doesn't know Little Seven's identity. She doesn't know now, but she will know soon. Mo Bin said. I believe that the 3 conventions will be very exciting soon. Chapter 654. However, this liveliness was blocked outside the parting garden's array. The moment they entered the parting garden, all they saw was a quiet courtyard. You're back. Su Jin was fiddling with herbs in the courtyard. When he heard the footsteps of the two, he didn't even raise his head to ask. Master. Sima Yue bowed to Su Jin. Is it done? Su Jin put down the medicinal ingredients and asked. Yes, it's settled. Sima Yue walked over and saw Su Jin's herbs. She said, Master, some of your herbs are not ripe yet. I can see it. Su Jin glanced at her, but you know, some herbs are best used when they are not ripe. When I'm not mature. Su Jin picked up a green peach-like fruit and said, Look at this Bodhi peach. After it ripens, it can be used to refine restriction-breaking pills and so on. It has a wide range of uses. Even if it's taken directly, it can clear one's heart and guard one's nature, increasing one's divine sense cultivation. But do you know that if this thing is picked before it's ripe, its medicinal properties will be the opposite, and it can confuse a person's mind? I didn't know it had such an effect. Sima Yue took the Bodhi peach, looked at it and smelled it. Indeed, it did not have the comfortable fragrance of a ripe peach. Instead, it had a slightly bitter taste. That's not all. Su Jin said with a smile, among these medicinal herbs, some of them have better effects when they're not mature, some of them have opposite effects and some of them are similar, so you'll have to spend some effort to understand them. Things in this world will always pop up when we think we understand them. Sima Yue nodded and agreed with Su Jin. This world was vast and no one could say that they had everything under their control. I'm hungry. Little Seven pulled Sima Yue's hand. Little Seven is playing with Master in the courtyard. I'll go make some food for you, okay? Although Little Seven didn't want to be with Su Jin, seeing how Sima Yue treated her like a child, in order to not make her suspicious, she could only nod obediently. Sima Yue walked a few steps before she realized that there was no kitchen. She took a detour and went to the backyard. The open space there is large. Su Jin waited for Sima Yue to leave before he continued to fiddle with his herbs. Little Seven walked over and stuffed a herb into her mouth. She even commented, These things of yours are all so low grade. Eat one of mine. You have to pay me back. Su Jin stretched out his hand. I know you have a lot of radishes. Just give me 2 of them. In your dreams, those are my food. Little Seven wouldn't give her things to Su Jin. You humans are all like this. Only a silly person like you wouldn't want my radish. That can't be. She's so silly. Your radish is a good thing and she doesn't want it. Su Jin felt sorry for Sima Yue. This fellow should have more radishes as much as she could. Humph, look at you. My Yu is a good person. She doesn't want these things. Little Seven looked at Su Jin with disdain. Su Jin automatically ignored her disdain. My silly disciple really didn't want your radish. Could it be that you said you would give her radish and she really took it as a radish? How can that be? Little Seven looked at him as if he was a fool. I put the radish in her hands 2 or 3 times. She didn't want it and gave it back to me. Su Jin touched his chin and pondered. It seems that my silly disciple is really too silly. I have to teach her properly when I go back. Really, I don't know how Old Man Devil taught her before. She's actually so silly. She doesn't even know how to take good things. You don't have that ability. Little Seven snorted. You plan to follow her until Old Man comes back. You still dare to stay here? Su Jin looked at Little Seven provocatively. Why wouldn't I dare? Although Little Seven said this, she still didn't have enough confidence. I say, if you don't stay in the place they prepared for you, if you get caught and eaten, you won't even have time to cry. Su Jin reminded her. This is the school. Who can catch me? Little Seven didn't listen to his words. She took a bite of the herb and spat it on the ground. Why does it taste so bad? Who told you to eat it directly? Su Jin's heart ached for his own herbs. This fellow was too wasteful. If I don't eat it like this, how can I eat it? Little Seven threw the rest of the herbs into Su Jin's arms. You eat these herbs just to absorb the medicinal properties inside to increase your strength. It's not like you're really going to eat them. Su Jin said, since it's like this, haven't you thought about refining them into pills? After refining them, they won't taste that bad. It can be like this? Little Seven's eyes lit up. These things are too bad, but I have to eat them. Every time I eat them I feel pain. Although you use cooking is good, it can't satisfy my needs. If I can refine them into pills, it'll be better. It's like this when you're stupid. When you transformed into a little doll, why didn't you transform yourself to be smarter? Su Jin teased. Hey, Little Seven bared her teeth at him and threatened. Do you believe that I'll eat you? You can try. Su Jin wasn't afraid at all. Wait until that old fellow comes back. Let's see if you can still be so cocky. I'm fine. At most, he'll scold me a little when he comes back. But you're wandering around without your original body. I think you'll be taught a lesson. Let's wait and see. I'll go find you to make me eat the pills. Little Seven ran towards the backyard after she finished speaking. Sima Yue was cooking while Han Miao Shuang watched with shining eyes. When Yue started cooking, she smelled the fragrance. Then her legs didn't listen to her and ran over with her. What did Little Seven say to Master? Wait a little longer. It'll be done soon. Sima Yue waved at Little Seven. Han Miao Shuang smiled and teased. Little junior brother, you treat Little Seven better than the rest of us. Sima Yue wasn't angry. She smiled. You're all adults. Little Seven is still a child. Why are you jealous of a child? If you like it, I'll give you a big jar later. You can drink it slowly. Little Seven walked over and sat beside Han Miao Shuang. I'll give you a big jar of vinegar. You two are in cahoots. Han Miao Shuang looked at Little Seven. She felt that she wasn't as simple as a child. But looking at Sima Yue, she seemed to trust her. Little Seven seemed to like it when Han Miao Shuang tied her and Sima Yue together. She wasn't angry and just smiled. Chapter 655. The two of them, one big and one small, ate until they were full and satisfied. After Han Miao Shuang finished eating, she went to refine pills, leaving Sima Yue and Little Seven to chat while packing up. Can you refine my radish into pills? Little Seven asked. Your radish? Sima Yue was stunned and immediately understood that she was talking about her medicinal herbs. She asked, what are you refining them for? If you want to refine pills, you need to match it with other herbs. I want to eat radishes, but radishes don't taste good. Your master said that he can refine them into pills so I don't have to eat them directly. Little Seven said. You won't feel hungry after eating those herbs, right? Sima Yue asked. Little Seven nodded. Sima Yue looked at Little Seven. Her gaze made the latter lower her head guiltily. After a while, Yue's voice was heard. I can help you refine the herbs into pills. Sima Yue said, but it's too late today, how about tomorrow? All right. Little Seven nodded and smiled happily. The next morning, just as Sima Yue came out from her cultivation state, she heard Little Seven knocking on the door. After getting a response, she pushed the door open and pulled her to the pill refining room. Sima Yue arrived at the alchemy room and saw the mountain of herbs on the table. Her mouth twitched as she asked Little Seven, these are all yours? Little Seven nodded. Other than the radish and some grass, you can refine them all for me. How long will this last you? Little Seven tilted her head and thought for a moment before saying, 10 days. 10 days? You want to eat so many medicinal herbs in 10 days? Sima Yue looked at little Seven in shock. She really wanted to see how little Seven's body did not explode after absorbing so much medicinal power. I still have a lot of radishes, but I thought that you would be tired after refining so many, so I took these out. Little Seven said. Sima Yue suddenly felt a little bitter. She had to refine so many herbs for her every 10 days? I don't want to eat so much, but I'm hungry. Little Seven lowered her head, feeling wronged. Sima Yue suddenly felt that she had sinned. She quickly patted her head and said, "It's okay. This isn't alchemy. There's no need to fuse those things. It's not that troublesome. It shouldn't take much time." Little Seven raised her head. The grievance on her face disappeared and was replaced by a smile. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. She thought that her eyes must have been playing tricks on her. "Alright, I'll refine the pill for you. You can go out and play. I'll watch." As Little Seven spoke, she took out a chair from somewhere and sat down in the corner of the alchemy room. She placed her legs on the crossbar of the chair and rested her hands on her knees. She watched Sima Yue busy herself. Sima Yue ignored her and started to process the herbs for her. She also knew that if these medicinal herbs were eaten directly, the medicinal taste would be stronger and bitter. It would not taste good. Refining the essence and making pills was much better than eating the herbs directly. Little Seven gave her a lot of herbs and they were all very precious. Luckily, she was very familiar with refining herbs. By noon, she had finished refining all the herbs and even made them into pills. She kept all of them in a jade bottle. While she was refining, Little Seven maintained her posture and looked at her. When she saw that she was done, she jumped down from the chair and threw a pill into her mouth. "It's the taste of one of my radishes. But it doesn't taste bitter anymore," Little Seven said happily. "I added some scarlet honey in when I was refining, so it has a hint of sweetness." Sima Yue said, "Keep these pills well. You can eat these when I don't have time to cook for you." And then, Little Seven nodded happily and ate another one. These pills are different from other herbs. Every pill has a strong medicinal effect. You have to know your limits. Don't eat too many at once. Yue gave her all the pills and reminded her. Little Seven nodded and kept all the pills away. Sima Yue and the others moved quickly. The next day they went to the teacher in charge of the club to register. The Thunder Club was born just like that. Seeing the name list that Sima Yue handed in, Little Seven's name was written at the end. The teacher's face flashed with surprise and asked, "Is Little Seven a little girl?" "Yes, teacher," Sima Yue replied. The teacher suppressed the surprise in his heart and said calmly, "All right, it has been noted. Your club is established today. The leader is Sima Yue. If there is a change in leader in the future, just come and register it." "Yes, thank you, teacher." Sima Yue and Wei Ziqi bowed and left the office. The teacher lowered his head and looked at the member list again. He said faintly, "This Little Seven came out to be naughty again." The other clubs soon knew about their establishment. Cliff Mountain sent Shui Rong and Ma Bo Jian to congratulate them. The other clubs did not express anything. Shui Rong asked about their member list and found out that they only had 11 people. But half of them were professional masters. She sighed. She didn't know if their lineup was strong or weak. Not long after Shui Rong went back, the Thunder Club's member list was spread out. Most people were not interested in their members. Only those who were at the top of the billboard would be surprised. "Mo Bin, is this Little Seven that Little Seven?" Tang Yen looked at the list in his hand and said, "It should be her." Mo Bin said, "I don't know how the others will react when they see this news. I'm really looking forward to it," Tang Yen said with a smile. "Hee, if they know that Little Seven has appeared again and joined a new club, I don't know if they will swarm over like a swarm of bees. Anyway, the 3 big meetings are about to start. Those guys should come out one after another. At that time there will be a show to watch. What about you? Do you want to go?" Mo Bin looked at Tang Yen. "We have always been together. If you go, I will go." Tang Yen opened his big fan and winked at Mo Bin. "Are your eyes cramping again?" Mo Bin rolled his eyes. Tang Yan's eyes turned into anger. Seeing that Mo Bin still had no reaction, he could only retract his gaze. "You're not really going, are you?" "Why not?" Mo Bin asked back. "That's true. With Little Seven you will definitely go," Tang Yen said. "The 3 people in front of you will go too. It's just that it's not certain whether they will join or not. Only Little Seven alone is enough to attract people." Mo Bin sighed. "But this team's strength is not weak. There is Sima Yue who is stronger than Lu Mingyuan. There are 2 alchemists, 1 array master, 1 beast tamer, 1 weapon refiner, and Little Seven. This team Tsk Tisk. You forgot." Sima Yue is also an alchemist. She is also the most dazzling freshman in the new student assessment. Amo Bin reminded. Chapter 656. During the alchemist examination, Sima Yue had used a variety of refining methods to refine a 6th grade elixir in 3.5 hours. This incident had once caused a frenzy in the inner yard. Especially the alchemists, all of them wanted to meet her. However, before she could report to the inner court, she had taken a year's leave. Later on, when she arrived at the inner court, she appeared in front of everyone with her powerful strength, causing everyone to forget that she had refined pills before. Tang Yen slapped his head. That's right, other than those two alchemists, there is also Sima Yue, an even more powerful alchemist. What do you think is the origin of this group of new students? They have so many professional masters in their early days, and they even cover so many different fields. They are all her relatives and friends, Mo Bin said. So I'm even more curious about what kind of environment they grew up in. I think the people in the top 50 should know Little Seven. After all, they were all there. That's why those societies don't dare to provoke Thunderbolt. Not to mention that her battle today will make people wary of her. Just with Little Seven here, the leaders of the other societies will have to warn their subordinates not to provoke them. Smart people won't look down on her just because her club has fewer members now. I heard that Madman is coming back. When he finds out about Sima Yue, there will be a lot of fun. That depends on whether Little Seven is by her side or not. Just wait and see. Just like Mo Bin and Tang Yen, the leaders of the various clubs were also surprised. Originally, when they found out that a small club had been established, they wanted to show off their might. However, after seeing Little Seven's name, they all fell silent. In the end, they only ordered one sentence: don't cause trouble for them. After Shui Rong left, Sima Yuqi and the others kept waiting for the other teams to come and find trouble. However, after waiting for an entire day, no one came, causing everyone to be extremely puzzled. But they didn't think that it was related to Little Seven. Sima Yue spent a few quiet days in the parting garden. She had already contacted Shimin Feng and was preparing to ask for leave. Su Jin was a person with a big temper, but his temper would bring a lot of convenience to his disciples. For example, if she wanted to apply for leave, she didn't need to look for Director Mao at all. She could just come out with Su Jin's token. She left the building area of the inner yard and headed east. She passed through a mountain range and arrived at a teleportation formation. There was only one pavilion and there were 2 people guarding it. When they saw Sima Yue coming over, they asked, "Are you going out?" "Yes." "Leave slip." "No." She was interrupted before she could finish her sentence. "You can't go out without a leave slip. Today isn't the day to go out. Go back, go back." Sima Yue took out Su Jin's token and handed it over, saying, "I have this." The person who spoke took the token and looked at it, saying, "Su Jin's token. Are you his disciple?" "Yes." "Identity token." That person stretched out his hand. Sima Yue was stunned for a moment before she realized that he wanted her token. She quickly took it out and handed it over. The man took the tokens and placed them on his forehead. After confirming her identity, he returned the 2 tokens to her. "Go." "Thank you." Sima Yue stood on the teleportation formation. That person immediately activated the formation. Very quickly, she appeared on the teleportation formation of the outer yard. The teleportation formation connecting the outer yard and the inner yard was in a small courtyard beside the formation department. Usually, there was only one person guarding it. When he saw the formation light up, the guard was curious. Who could come out when it wasn't a holiday? One had to know that in the inner yard, as long as it wasn't a mission, it was very difficult to ask for leave. And when they went out for a mission, they usually wouldn't go through the outer yard. When he saw the person on the teleportation formation, the guard was relieved. So it was Su Jin's disciple. No wonder he could come out as he pleased. Sima Yue bowed slightly to that person and then left the courtyard. She had lived in the outer courtyard for 2 years, but she wasn't familiar with this place at all. In those 2 years, besides going to the demon world and staying there for nearly a year, the rest of the time, if she wasn't cultivating, she was immersed in researching information for the matter of Shimin Feng. She rarely walked around campus. She asked 2 students before she found the area she was familiar with. When she saw Gulang's office, she couldn't help but sigh. Thinking back, she said that she would find time to come to the formation department to listen to a class, but she didn't. So she couldn't find the way to her previous place. Gulang wasn't in the office. "You want to teach a class?" Sima Yue waited downstairs for a while and saw him walking over with a group of students. Some of them were from the previous research group, and some of them she didn't know. Seeing Sima Yue, some of the students greeted her. She also smiled and responded to them one by one. Gu Lang handed the book in his hand to the person next to him and ordered, "You guys go up and wait for me." "Yes, teacher." The students went around her and went upstairs. Gu Lang walked over and asked, "Why did you come out today?" "Teacher Gu, I got the Earth's Eye," Sima Yue said somewhat excitedly. "What did you say?" Gu Lang suspected that he heard wrong and looked at her in surprise. "It's true," Sima Yue said now. Gu Lang looked around and made sure that there was no one around. He then grabbed her hand excitedly. "How did you get that thing so quickly?" "Master gave it to me. He said that someone gave it to him," Sima Yue said. Seeing Gu Lang's stunned expression, she continued, "I also think that Master's words are a little unreliable. But no matter how he got it, it's in my hands now." "Then why are you here today?" "I've already informed Feng to come back. You should be at home now. I'm here today to invite Teacher Gu to go with me." Sima Yue said, "I wonder if Teacher Gu is willing to come with me?" "You want to go with me?" Gu Lang didn't expect Sima Yue to invite him. Sima Yue nodded. "Teacher Gu, you were the one who thought of this method. Don't you want to see the results? Moreover, I think that with Teacher Gu by my side it'll be easier to deal with any situation." "Alright then. Wait for a while. I'll ask the students to go back," Gu Lang said. "Teacher Gu, there's no hurry. I'm here today to inform you that it'll officially start tomorrow." Sima Yue said, "You can come to my house tomorrow." "Alright, when will you start?" 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Sima Yue said. "Alright, 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I'll be there on time. Then I'll go back first. We'll treat Feng together tomorrow. I won't waste Teacher Ji's time now." Sima Yue waved at Gu Lang and left. After leaving the school, she went straight home. Before she knocked on the door was opened. "Yue, you're back? We were just about to contact you." Bei Gonghang looked at Sima Yue and grabbed her hand. "What happened?" "Something happened to Brother Feng." Chapter 657. When Sima Yue heard this, she immediately became nervous. She grabbed Bei Gonghang's hand and asked anxiously, "Feng, what happened? Where is he now?" "Brother Feng is in his room." Before Bei Gonghang could finish his words, Sima Yue left him behind and ran toward Shimin Feng's house. He quickly chased after her. Sima Yue saw the front of Shimin Feng's house. Before she entered the door, she heard the sound of crying coming from inside. "Feng." She pushed open the half-closed door and went in. She saw Yin Lan and Sang Muyu in the room, their faces gloomy. A strange man sat on the edge of the bed while Kong Sangyi stood beside him, sobbing non-stop. And Shimin Feng was lying on the bed, unconscious. Seeing his pale face, she was stunned. "Feng, what's wrong?" "Yue, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. What's wrong with Feng?" she called out. The strange man sitting on the bedside stood up and said, "We were attacked." Shimin Feng released the seal. Then it became what it is now. Sima Yue's body swayed when she heard the words "release the seal." She grabbed onto the door frame to stabilize herself. "Hang, go to the heavenly sect and find Teacher Gu Lang in the medical department. Ask him to come over," she ordered Bei Gonghang, who was rushing over. All right." Bei Gonghang saw the way Sima Yue was behaving and didn't say anything else. He took off running outside. "Yue, quickly take a look at him," Yin Lan said. Sima Yue ran to the bedside. She took a deep breath and grabbed her clothes with her left hand to calm herself down. Then she grabbed his hand and started to check him. "Did you give him a heart protection pill?" After checking for a while, she turned around and asked Kong Sangyi. "Yes. I've always been worried about when Feng would break through the seal. I heard from Jingwen that the heart protection pill would be useful for him, so I've always kept it with me." Kong Sangyi said, "After he killed those people, I gave him one pill. Since then he has been taking one pill every day. Today is already the 4th day." When Jingwen saw that Sima Yue knew that Shimin Feng had taken the heart protection pill just by taking his pulse, he looked at her with more interest. Because the heart protection pill only protected the heart a little bit, it was very difficult for ordinary people to detect it. Before coming here, he had heard that her medical skills were very good. It seemed that this trip was not in vain. Sima Yue's fierce expression softened a little. The heart protection pill was considered a relatively precious pill. One pill was worth 1,000 taels of gold. Kong Sangyi actually prepared so many. "Yue, how's the situation with Feng?" Sang Muyu asked the question that Kong Sangyi had been wanting to ask. Because that aura was suppressed, once it regained its freedom, it's crazily attacking Feng's body. Now, his internal organs are being corroded very badly. Luckily, the heart protection pill protected Feng Er's heart, so he didn't die immediately. Sima Yue said, I'll give Feng Er some acupuncture to stabilize the aura. You guys go out first. I'll stay and help you, Jingwen said. Sima Yue looked at Jingwen, then looked at Kong Sangyi. They should be on the same side if they could be invited by her. Also, it was inconvenient for her to do some things alone. It would be better if there was a man around. Okay, help me take off all his clothes. There's no need to take off his underwear. Then rub this all over his body. She handed a green medicine bottle to Jingwen, then took out her tools and started to prepare. Xiangyi, if I'm not out by the time Teacher Gu arrives, let him wait outside for a while. She looked at the silver needles and instructed without raising her head. Yes. Kong Sangyi was the last to leave, closing the door behind him. Yin Lan and Sang Muyu saw that Kong Sangyi still had tears on his face and comforted him. Yue is back, Feng should be fine. Okay. Kong Sangyi looked back at the door, full of worry. Let's just wait here. Yin Lan said. I wonder if Yue can cure Feng this time. Sang Muyu and Yin Lan had a big age difference, but because their children were close in age and they had always lived together, they became good sisters. I see that although Yue's expression is worried, there's no despair. There should still be hope. Yin Lan said. Yue, this child, it's been hard on her these 2 years. If anything happens at this time, I'm afraid. I believe in her medical skills. There won't be any problems. Yin Lan said confidently. The three of them waited in the courtyard for a while. Sima Lai brought 2 people in from outside. Seeing that they were all outside, he asked, Why are you here? How's Feng Er's condition? Yue is back and he's being treated inside. Yin Lan replied. Yue is back so soon? Sima Lai was a little surprised as he thought that she would only be back after 2 days. I heard that young Master Yue's medical skills are amazing. Since she's back, there's no need for me. The person who came with Sima Lai said. I'm really sorry. Sima Lai cupped his hands and said apologetically. With young Master Yue, I think that the patient should be fine. The manager of Xian Yuan Pavilion said. I hope so. Sima Lai thought that Sima Yue was inside and his heart relaxed a lot. If Shimen Feng was really gone, he couldn't imagine what Yue would be like. Since Yue is inside, it's not convenient for us to disturb her. Since that's the case, why don't the 2 of you follow me to the living room to have a cup of tea? Brother Sima is too polite. We're also very concerned about the situation inside. Why don't we wait here together? The manager of Xian Yuan Pavilion said. That's fine too. How about we wait in the pavilion? Okay. Please. Sima Lai brought the 2 of them to the pavilion. Sang Muyu consciously prepared tea for the 3 of them, and then returned to the entrance to continue waiting with Yin Lan. At the same time, Bei Gonghang also waited for a while at the entrance of the academy. From time to time he would look inside the academy, and when he saw Gulang's figure, he hurriedly ran over. Teacher Go. Gulang was originally discussing with the group of students, and when he heard that Sima Yue had sent someone to find him, he was a little surprised. Didn't she just leave? Why did she send someone to find him again? However, he guessed that something must have happened since Yue was so anxious to find him. Thus, he dismissed the students and hurriedly went to the entrance of the academy. You're Yue's child. Gulang recognized Bei Gonghang. Yes. Teacher Gu, Yue wants you to go over now. Bei Gonghang said anxiously. Didn't you say you'll go tomorrow? What happened? Brother Feng broke through the seal and now his life is in danger. Teacher Gu, can you come with me now? Okay. Let's hurry over. Gulang naturally knew what would happen if Shimen Feng broke through the seal and urged him. I took a beast carriage here. Teacher Gu, get on. Bei Gonghang welcomed Gulang into the carriage and drove the carriage out of the academy gate. Chapter 658. When Gulang and Bei Gonghang arrived home, Sima Yue and Jingwen were still in the house. Seeing Gulang come in, the steward of the Shenyuan Pavilion and the doctor he brought came to salute him. What's the situation now? Gulang asked. Yue and Jingwen are still inside. They haven't come out yet. We don't know what the current situation is either. Inlan said. Kong Sangyi's tears fell even harder. Gulang was curious about the identity of Kong Sangyi, but now was not the time to be concerned. Creak, the door suddenly opened. Sima Yue and Jingwen walked out looking exhausted. Sima Yue walked in front of Gulang and bowed to him. Please forgive me for inviting Teacher Gu here so urgently. Why are you still telling me this? How is your brother now? Gulang lifted her hand and said. Feng Er has temporarily stabilized, but this is only temporary. I want to ask the teacher to take a look and see if we can still use that method with Feng Er's condition. Sima Yue said. Okay, let's go in and take a look. Ge Lang took the lead and walked into the house. Sima Yue followed him. Jingwen thought about it for a moment, then followed him in. Previously, he had only been curious about her, but after the emergency treatment he only had admiration for her. She actually used those needles to solve the problem that he couldn't do anything about. He had no choice but to admit defeat. Teacher Gu, I just used the silver needle technique to stabilize the qi in his body. Take a look at his condition. Sima Yue said. Ge Lang nodded, walked to the bedside and sat down. After checking Shimin Feng's pulse, he said after a while, his condition is better than expected. This is related to the heart protection pill you usually give him. Yes, I used to refine pills for Feng Er to improve his internal organs. Xiang Yi also gave him a heart protection pill at that time. Sima Yue said. What do you think about this situation? Ge Lang asked. I want to use that method on him immediately. Sima Yue said, since that aura has already wandered around his body and infiltrated his internal organs, it's impossible to extract it now. It's better to let him refine that aura into his own strength. But he's already completely unconscious and his consciousness is low. I'm afraid it's impossible for him to refine this strength. Gu disagreed. But if we don't get rid of this power, it will leave behind a root of illness. Sima Yue said, if we let his strength stop here forever, he will collapse. You speak with such certainty. Is there any way for him to take the initiative to borrow the medicinal strength to refine that power? When the time comes, I want to send my divine sense into his body and awaken his divine sense. Then we can refine that aura together. Sima Yue said. What did you say? Jingwen exclaimed in a low voice. Do you know that if you do that, his soul will be awakened and he won't be able to recognize you? It's very likely that he will attack you and your soul will be severely damaged. Even if he doesn't attack you, you'll still be hurt if you help him refine it. I know, but I have to do it. Sima Yue said. Teacher Gu, your method is possible. Can you help me? Ge Lang looked at Sima Yue's pleading eyes. He nodded and said, we're thinking about the same thing. But the risk is too big, so I didn't mention it. But you have to persevere. I'll do my best to help you. Thank you, Teacher Gu. Sima Yue looked at Ge Lang with tears in her eyes. Shimin Feng was her only family in her past life. She couldn't lose him again. As long as there was a chance, she had to give it her all. Jingwen looked at the two of them and shook his head. Since you've decided, I won't disturb you. I'll leave first. Thank you. Sima Yue nodded at him gratefully. She needed someone she trusted to be by her side. She was worried about Jingwen. If he was here, she couldn't let go of herself completely. Now that he took the initiative to leave, it relieved her of her worries. Jingwen left. Ge Lang looked at Sima Yue's tired face and said, his condition isn't urgent. You can rest for a while. I'll prepare the things we need to use. Sima Yue didn't force herself. What she needed to do required a high level of concentration. She had used up a lot of energy to treat Shimin Feng, so it was best for her to recover. Ge Lang went out to find Sima Lai and the others to prepare a wooden bucket and hot water. She took the opportunity to eat 2 drops of soul fluid and a pill to recover her consciousness. Then she sat on a chair to meditate. Ge Lang prepared the things and she was done meditating. The two of them locked themselves in the room. After giving each other a look of encouragement, they threw Shimin Feng into the water to start the treatment. Ge Lang was in charge of the medicine. She came in front of Shimin Feng and used the bathtub to turn him over. Then she held his face. Their eyebrows touched and a faint halo was emitted from the place where they touched. Shimin Feng felt as if his soul was imprisoned in a dark space. All around him was a bone-piercing cold. He curled up his body in the dark space. He was half asleep, half awake. It was as if he could forget the cold around him and not let himself fall into darkness forever. Feng Er, a gentle call cut through the darkness. He subconsciously looked around. Feng Er, why are you sleeping again? If you don't get up to cultivate, Mother will punish you. Sister? Feng Er, didn't you say we were going to catch a spirit rabbit to roast? If you don't come, little Roar will eat it all. Sister, where are you? Where am I? Shimin Feng looked around in the dark and didn't see the person who spoke. Feng Er, you're in a dark room. You have to come out of this room. I'll wait for you outside. Sister, this is a room? How did I get here? Shimin Feng grabbed his head. He couldn't remember. Feng Er, don't worry. Listen to Sister. Sister is waiting for you outside. She will always be here with you. Let's open this black room together, okay? Sima Yue felt that Shimin Feng's soul was fluctuating. She quickly comforted him. You're really my sister? Shimin Feng asked uncertainly. Of course. Other than me, who else do you want to be your sister? Shimin Feng almost believed her words. However, the scene of Qin Mo bringing him to Shimin Yue's grave suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Your sister is already dead. I buried her with my own hands. Qin Mo's words made Shimin Feng irritable. His hands kept waving in the dark. You're not my sister. My sister is already dead. Who are you? He attacked all around. He obviously didn't hit Sima Yue. However, she spat out a mouthful of blood. The blood flowed from the corner of her mouth into the bathtub and bloomed into a blood-red flower. Chapter 659. Yue. Gulang saw Sima Yue vomiting blood and wanted her to give up, but she raised her hand to stop him. I'm fine. She wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth and continued to slowly pour her divine sense into Shimin Feng's sea of consciousness. Feng, or have you forgotten? Sister has been reborn. We met outside Yu City. You call me Big Sister. Do you still remember? In front of Shimin Feng's eyes, the scene of his sister's soul living in a safe and unfamiliar woman's body seemed to appear. Sister, Feng, or you remembered me? Sister, are you hurt? Did I hurt you? Shimin Feng could hear the weakness in her voice. Big Sister is fine. Big Sister has been waiting for you outside for too long, but you didn't come out. Big Sister couldn't see you and got anxious. Feng, or don't you want to see me? Yes. Shimin Feng eagerly said. Big Sister wants to see you too. Can you come out of that place now? Shimin Feng looked at the pitch-black surroundings and said, Sister, I don't know where I am, and I also don't know where the exit is. It's okay, I'll bring you out. Sima Yue said, Can you sense where I am? Sure. Gather your spiritual energy and burn the darkness in front of you. Sima Yue said, Sister will be with you and guide you out. All right. Shimin Feng condensed his spiritual energy and tried to attack according to Sima Yue's instructions. At the same time, the spiritual energy in his body was activated again. It followed Sima Yue's consciousness and flowed throughout his body. Under the effect of the medicine, it enveloped, devoured and assimilated the aura it encountered. Although it was very slow, it was changing the aura in his body bit by bit. Sima Yue didn't know how much time had passed outside. She only knew that she must highly concentrate on guiding the spiritual power of Shimin Feng, and together with him she must completely swallow the aura inside his body, and then transform it into his own strength. Shimin Feng had been fighting against the darkness. Towards the end he already had his own consciousness and knew what he was doing. He also knew that Sima Yue was helping him. He wanted to do it himself but he couldn't. He hadn't completely come out of the dark environment. A little bit of light, a little bit more, a little bit more. When he left the dark environment, he felt the bindings on his body disappear, and his eyes seemed to be able to open. Sister. He opened his eyes and saw a pale face. Feng, are you finally woke up? She let go of Shimin Feng's cheek and slid down the bathtub. Big Sister. Shimin Feng wanted to get up and help her up but was pushed back. Gulang pressed down on his shoulder and said, Although you've already woken up, you haven't completely refined the aura in your body. Just stay here and continue. She'll be fine. Shimin Feng still wanted to struggle but Gulang roared, Your sister fainted because of you. If you get up, all your previous efforts will be wasted. Do you want your sister's hard work to go to waste? Shimin Feng was stunned. He saw Gulang let go of him and went to carry Sima Yue and put her on the bed. He sat back, clenched his teeth and closed his eyes to continue refining. Gulang was right. He couldn't let his sister's efforts go to waste. He had to finish the rest. Gulang gave Sima Yue a pill and turned to look at Shimin Feng. Seeing that he continued, he was relieved. Shimin Feng finished refining the remaining aura, and then together with the aura he refined before, he poured it all into the spiritual pool. A large amount of energy was poured in, allowing him to advance in the bathtub. When he finished advancing, his body returned to its best condition. The organs that were corroded by the dark aura were also quickly repaired, returning to their original state. Not bad. Gulang looked at Shimin Feng and nodded. Then he sat weakly by the bed and took out a pill to eat. Shimin Feng came out of the bathtub and put on his clothes. He bowed to Gulang and said gratefully, Thank you Teacher Gu for saving my life. Gulang waved his hand and said, No need to thank me. It was your sister who saved you. Sister Shimin Feng looked at her pale face and felt his heart ache. She injected her divine sense into your body for half a month, guiding you to refine the dark aura. At first she was injured by you. Luckily it went smoothly. Gulang said, I old Go have lived for hundreds of years and have never seen someone so desperate. But luckily this guy has strong spiritual energy. Otherwise the two of you would be finished this time. Then how is sister now? Will she be in danger? Shimin Feng asked. There is no danger, but her divine sense was seriously injured this time. I'm afraid it will take some time for her to recover. Gu Lang shook his head and said, when she wakes up, tell her that the things she prepared have been used up due to some changes in the situation. Only this Earth's Eye is left. Luckily she prepared a lot of Earth's Eye. If she prepared according to her previous estimates, I'm afraid you will be completely hopeless. Originally it was 8 tails. In the end, Sima Yue brought back almost 2 caddies. In the end, she spent more than 1 caddy and left a little in the box. Gu Lang handed the box to Shimin Feng and said, when she wakes up, she must rest well for a period of time. It would be best if she could stay in bed for a week and recuperate for a month. During this period of time, remember not to use your divine sense. It would be best if you don't even think about anything. Alright, there's nothing else to say. I'll go back to the academy first. Shimin Feng held the box and bowed deeply with both hands. He said, Master Ji's kindness today, Shimin Feng will remember it in my heart. Gu Lang waved his hand and walked past him. He opened the door and went out. Kong Sangyi and Jingwen were still waiting outside. When they heard the door open they were shocked. Seeing Gu Lang come out, Kong Sangyi wanted to go up and ask how Shimin Feng was doing. But before he could say anything he saw Shimin Feng also walk out of the house. Feng, you're fine. Kong Sangyi rushed over and hugged him tightly. Shimin Feng was speechless at Kong Sangyi's reaction. His hands hung in the air. He didn't know whether to push her or not. Don't be like this. I'm still fine. He helplessly comforted her. I knew it. Yue will definitely save you. Kong Sangyi cried. But this time, it wasn't tears of worry and self-blame. Instead it was tears of joy. Let go. I still have to send Master Gu off. Shimin Feng finally put down his hands and patted her shoulder. Why send me off? It's not like I can't find the way. I can walk on my own. Gu Lang said. Master Gu, let me send you off. Jingwen was shocked when he saw Shimin Feng come out. Now that Kong Sangyi was so excited, he would send this teacher off on behalf of his master. Chapter 660. Sima Yue felt like she had been walking on a small road for a very long time. It was as if the road had no end and she did not know where it was taking her. A vast expanse of white appeared in front of them, and the path extended all the way into the white fog. She looked at the white mist and felt very warm. She really wanted to walk in. Suddenly Mo Sha's figure appeared on the side of the road, glaring at her angrily. Where are you going? Sima Yue felt a little guilty when he glared at her. She chuckled and said, I don't know where we're going either. It's just that there's no end to this road. Mo Sha pointed at the white fog in front of them and said, if you continue to walk forward, you'll never be able to return. You can only get lost inside. Sima Yue was shocked and took a few steps back. She patted her chest and said, so scary. Fortunately you appeared. Come back with me. Mo Sha glared at her and extended his hand towards her. Sima Yue looked at his seductive eyes and suddenly giggled. Mo Sha, do you like me? Mo Sha was stifled by her question and shouted in a low voice, what nonsense are you spouting? Give me your hand. Sima Yue already knew that this wasn't the real world. This Mo Sha was most likely an illusion created by her, so she wasn't afraid of him. She giggled and said, am I spouting nonsense? If so, why do you appear every time I'm in danger? You're my contractor. Mo Sha's face was cold. But you don't look at me like I'm your contractor. Sima Yue poked his face. There was no resistance. It really wasn't him. Mo Sha looked at her. Just as he was about to yell again, he heard her mutter to herself, I only dared to say that in my dreams. But actually I like you a little too. Ever since I was reborn you have always been by my side and taught me to be strong. Although you have a bad temper and always yell at me, I know that you care about me. I believe you, but I'm also afraid that what happened in my previous life will happen again, and you will hurt my family. I couldn't afford to be betrayed by someone I loved, so I had to confirm it again and again in the demon realm. But you also surprised me. You actually swore. Doesn't this mean that you care about me? When Mo Sha heard her inner thoughts, he couldn't help but feel happy. But when he heard that she had been betrayed by the person she loved, his heart ached. He didn't like the disappointment in her eyes. He really didn't like it. I won't betray you, he said. Okay, then I'll believe in fate one more time. Sima Yue nodded seriously. But don't be mean to me in the future, okay? You can't bully me just because you are stronger than me. In the future, when we cancel the contract, you can go back to being the Demon King. You can't become someone I don't know, understand? Emo Sha looked at her, his eyes unreadable, but in the end he still nodded. You actually nodded? It seems that you are indeed an illusion created by me. It's not true. Sima Yue sighed. It was rare for Emo Sha to be so gentle, but when he heard her words, his face darkened. Am I that fierce in your heart? Haven't you bullied me enough? Every time you bully me just because you are stronger than me. Luckily you're not my boyfriend. If my boyfriend dared to do that, I would beat him up until he went to see his grandma. Boyfriend? What's that? It's when two parties have confirmed that they are in a relationship, but haven't married yet. In the world I used to live in before marriage, you have to date for a period of time. If you think it's good, you get married. If you don't, you break up and say goodbye. Then you go your separate ways. Then what's your boyfriend like? It doesn't matter what, but he has to pamper me. If he loves me, he has to pamper me. If I say he can't go to heaven, he will definitely not eat meat. If I like the stars in the sky, even if I don't say anything, he will go and pluck them for me. Of course, I won't make such a request. Anyway, he has to treat me very, very well. Emo Sha stared at her, not knowing what he was thinking. Sima Yue saw that he didn't react, so she waved her hand and said, Why am I telling you this? You're just an illusion in my head. Telling you is actually telling myself. It's a waste of time. Then what if I'm real? How can you be real? Sima Yue glanced at him. If you're real, why are you here listening to me talk so much? Even if I scold you, you won't get angry at me? Only the one I'm imagining will. Why won't the one you're imagining not get angry at you? Because the one I'm imagining is definitely someone who will treat me well and listen to me. Of course you won't get angry at me. You want me to treat you like that? There's no point in wishing it, right? Sima Yue pouted. Emo Sha was different from other people to her. Although he was only a spirit, and his identity was also someone from the devil world, he was someone she had always relied on. After losing the memories of her past life, when she arrived in the Yilin continent, she thought that she came directly from Earth. Although she appeared to be strong, she was still a little afraid of a foreign world. And at this time he appeared, taught her alchemy and faced life with her. Although he was very fierce when teaching her alchemy, and would shout at her, she had never seen him look at her with disdain. Emo Sha reached out his hand again, saying, Give me your hand, I'll bring you back. You're already so fierce after saying that. Sima Yue reached out her hand, and when she was about to put it on Emo Sha's hand, she heard a gentle call. Child, come here. Her hand stopped in midair and she turned her head to look. A beautiful woman appeared at the edge of the white fog. Mother? Why are you here? She cried out in surprise. Emo Sha saw that Sima Yue's hand was only a centimeter away from his, and his eyes flashed with anxiety. In here he couldn't forcefully pull her out. Only she could put her hand in his. But now that she wasn't moving, he was anxious. The woman waved at Sima Yue saying, Child, come here. Once you're here you'll be free. You won't have to think about those things and you'll be able to obtain true freedom. Sima Yue couldn't help but take a step forward. Don't go over. If you go over, you won't be able to come out. Emo Sha shouted. Sima Yue turned her head to look at Emo Sha, and then turned back to look at her gentle mother. She then smiled, saying, Mother, you're no longer here. Even if I go over, I won't be able to see you. Mother, don't worry. I'll take good care of Feng. Oh right, Feng, I'm treating Feng's illness. How did I end up here? Why can't I remember? Yue. Emo Sha's shadow slowly faded. He looked at her pleadingly, and there was an indescribable sadness in his eyes. His time was up. If she wasn't willing to go with him, then they would be trapped on this path forever. Sima Yue's heart was burned by Emo Sha's gaze. He was sad that she didn't grab his hand and he was begging her to do so. She didn't want him to be like this, so she grabbed his hand without thinking. Before she could say anything, she felt the world spinning. She, who was lying on the bed, opened her eyes at the same time, making the person beside the bed happy. Chapter 661. Little junior brother, you're finally awake. To force when learning, Wu Lingyu, who had been guarding the door, breathed a sigh of relief. Senior brother? Sima Yue was still in a daze. She rubbed her temples and asked in confusion when she heard the sounds in the room. How do you feel now? Wu Lingyu reached out to rub her brows and asked gently. Why are you here? I sensed that something had happened to you, so I rushed back. Wu Lingyu poked her forehead. Can you not work so hard? In order to save him, I almost sacrificed myself. What's wrong with me? Sima Yue was still confused and could not remember anything. In order to treat Shimin Feng, you injected your own divine sense into his body and guided him to refine the power within his body. However, due to the exhaustion of your divine sense, you were unconscious for half a month and even entered the primal chaos world. Your brother is blaming himself so much that he wants to commit suicide to atone for his sins, Wu Lingyu said reproachfully. I went to the chaos world? Sima Yue frowned. I heard that those who went there could never come back. How did I wake up? Humph, you also know that you won't wake up if you go there. The more Wu Lingyu looked at her, the angrier she became. I didn't know this would happen. You haven't told me how I woke up. Mo Shai used your contractual relationship to go in and bring you out. Wu Lingyu said, because going there would be too much damage to his soul, he went back directly after you woke up. Sima Yue opened her mouth slightly. After a while she said, that's really him? Of course it's him. If it wasn't for him, how could you have woken up? Wu Lingyu poked her again, almost poking a hole in her forehead. If a soul forcefully enters the primal chaos world, it will be greatly damaged, right? I wonder how Mo Shai is doing now. Sima Yue was a little worried about him. I won't die. Wu Lingyu said, he used the contract between the two of you to enter. Although he's very weak now, it's not enough to take his life. Sima Yue recalled that Mo Shai's expression was rather ugly when he was in the chaos world. The time he persisted was also rather short. It seemed that the chaos world had caused him quite a bit of damage. Where's Feng? I've been guarding you here for half a month. Before Mo Shai and I made our move, I was called out to rest. Wu Lingyu said, I think he'll be here soon. By the way, your senior brothers and sisters are here as well. What's the background of that kid? Sima Yue thought about it and her head started to hurt. Wu Lingyu quickly stopped her. All right. Don't think about it anymore. You just came out of the chaos world, don't you know that you can't use your brain? Aren't you the one who asked me? Sima Yue felt wronged. All right, I won't ask anymore. Wu Lingyu didn't know what to do with her. Your grandfather and the others are also very worried about you. Since you're awake, I'll go call them. Thank you, senior brother. She smiled faintly, but she didn't have much strength. Wu Lingyu ruffled her hair and turned to leave. Sima Yue laid on the bed. Her right hand touched the devil's snare bracelet on her left wrist. Her heart was filled with emotions. The chaos world was a realm that cultivators were more afraid of. It lurked in the depths of a person's brain. Once a person entered that place, if they didn't come back in time, that person would forever be in a state of suspended animation. It was impossible for people from the outside world to enter a person's chaos world. People like Mo Shai who could enter with a contract would lose 2 of their 3 souls. He could actually take the initiative to break the contract with her. Although the price was a bit high, there was still a chance, right? And the damage would definitely be less than entering the chaos world. If she really couldn't wake up, he could completely cancel the contract now. She didn't expect that he would risk dissipating to go to the chaos world to pull her back. She felt that Mo Shai's soul was very weak now. It wasn't much better than when she first met him. Thank you, Mo Shai, she said gratefully. Thinking about what she said in the chaos world, she was a little embarrassed. That was the real Mo Shai, but I hope you'll forget it when you wake up. Creak, the door was pushed open. The first to enter wasn't Shimin Feng, but Han Miao Shuang and Little Seven. Little junior brother, you're finally awake. If you didn't wake up, I would have cried to death. Han Miao Shuang pounced on the bed. Without you, I can't even eat well. I haven't eaten for a long time. Sima Yue didn't have the strength to dodge and was pounced on by her. You're squashing her. Little Seven walked over and lifted Han Miao Shuang up. Sima Yue looked at Little Seven gratefully. This little guy was still reliable. Why are you guys here? Little Seven said you didn't go back for a long time, so she wanted to look for you. Master was annoyed by her and asked me to bring her out. Han Miao Shuang said. You're really useless. You actually made yourself like this. Little Seven looked at Sima Yue with disdain. But you're amazing too. You can even come back after entering the chaos world. How did you know I entered the chaos world? She was slightly surprised. Master said so. He came, took a look at you and said you entered the chaos world. Han Miao Shuang said. Master came too? He took a look at you and left. He said you couldn't be saved. Han Miao Shuang didn't have any intention of snitching because Su Jin did say so. Sima Yue pursed her lips. The second master was too direct? Then master went back to the sect? No, he said he went to find that old guy to save you. I don't know where he went. Han Miao Shuang said. If I knew you used the Eye of Earth to make yourself like this, I wouldn't have given it to you. Little Seven said. Master probably regrets it too. Han Miao Shuang knew that Su Jin gave her the Eye of Earth, but she didn't know that it was given by Little Seven. When she heard Little Seven say that, she thought Little Seven was just complaining about Su Jin. Aren't I fine now? Sima Yue wanted to reach out and touch Little Seven, but she couldn't lift her hand. It wasn't so troublesome at first, but because something happened to Feng I had to save him. He's that important to you? You can even give up your life for him? Little Seven stared. I didn't expect to accidentally enter the chaos world this time. But if I knew this from the start, I wouldn't hesitate to do it. You don't cherish your life. I cherish it very much. I still have a lot of things to do. Naturally, I don't want to die early. Then why are you still doing this? Little Seven, sometimes, there are some unbearable burdens in a person's life. If the things you have to do are compared to the lives of your loved ones, it's not as important. Chapter 662. After Sima Yue said this, the two people in the room became silent. She could not bear the weight of life. To her, Shimin Feng was more important than her life. If she lost him, her life would become incomplete. Shimin Feng, who had just arrived at the courtyard, blinked a few times to force back his tears, then quickly walked inside. Wu Lingyu stood in place, still thinking about her words. Could it not bear the weight of life? When would he be able to bear the weight of her life force? Shimin Feng entered the room and seeing Sima Yue opened her eyes again, he affectionately called, "Sister." Feng, Sima Yue saw the guilt in his eyes and smiled at him, indicating that he should not take it to heart. Little Seven looked at Shimin Feng and then looked at Sima Yue. She curled her lips. Why was it sister? Wasn't she younger than him? Han Miao Shuang was confused as well, but she knew how to read the atmosphere. She knew that Sima Yue and Shimin Feng had something to talk about, so she dragged Little Seven out. Yue, have a good rest. We'll visit you again later. Han Miao Shuang didn't forget to close the door when she went out. How is Teacher Gu? Sima Yue wanted to break the silence between the two of them. Don't talk. Shimin Feng walked over. Teacher Gu is fine. You are the one who is in trouble. I told you not to talk. Shimin Feng interrupted her and continued, Teacher Gu said that your situation is very troublesome. Even if you wake up, you can't use your brain and speak less. It's best if you don't talk at all. Just listen to me. Sima Yue looked at Shimin Feng, who was so nervous and blaming himself. She nodded her head, indicating that she would listen to him. But her being like this made Shimin Feng unable to speak the words in his heart. The two people fell into silence. After a good while, Shimin Feng opened his mouth. In the future, if you encounter this kind of situation again, you are not allowed to use your life to exchange for mine. You are my younger brother, my only family in my previous life. Sima Yue said. Shimin Feng glared at her mouth. The latter pursed her lips. This time she really didn't say anything. I only have you as my family. Shimin Feng's eyes turned red again, but tears didn't fall. Sima Yue wanted to say something, but when she saw Shimin Feng staring at her, she swallowed her words. Elder sister, you've been protecting me since the beginning. This time, I even let you experience such a dangerous thing. In the future, it's my turn to protect you. Shimin Feng held her hand and said. Sima Yue nodded and smiled. She understood Shimin Feng's feelings, because she had experienced the feeling of watching him sacrifice his life for her. That kind of feeling was really unpleasant. Shimin Feng didn't talk to her for long before leaving, because he saw her weak appearance and wanted her to have a good rest and recuperate. After that, Sima Lai and the others came to see her, but they all asked her not to speak. They also left after a while and told her to have a good rest. The next day Gulang came as well. He first checked Sima Yue's body. How do you feel now? Gulang asked. Sometimes I feel a headache and I don't have much strength. Everything else is fine. Sima Yue replied. It's already good that you can come back. You're only feeling a little uncomfortable now. You're already considered lucky. Gulang snorted. I didn't know it would be like this at that time. Sima Yue smiled. Entering the chaotic world isn't something that everyone with exhausted consciousness can do. My chances are small. No matter what, it's good that you can come back. Gulang said. Do you know how you came back? Sima Yue shook her head. She still couldn't tell them about Emo Sha's existence. These people had a deep hatred towards the Devil Clan. If they knew and wanted to kill him, it would be difficult for her. After all, not everyone liked and worshipped Emo Sha like Old Man Devil. It's normal that you don't know. Gulang said, The other people who entered the chaotic world didn't wake up. You're an exception. Don't do this next time. These old bones of mine can't take the shock. Sima Yue nodded obediently. I've already sent a message to old Su. He should be back soon. Gulang said, all right, I should go back. I promised to discuss the illness with that group of brats. When I'm better, I'll definitely go with Feng to thank them. Sima Yue said. Then you should get better soon. Gulang really didn't like to see her like this. He left after saying that. Sima Yue watched him leave. After thinking for a while, she took out 2 drops of soul fluid and drank it. Fortunately, she had this. She was able to recover to her current state in a day's time. Wu Lingyu stayed for 2 days after she woke up. Even in these 2 days, he would occasionally leave the courtyard as if someone was looking for him. Little Seven was a little afraid of Wu Lingyu. As long as Wu Lingyu was around, she definitely wouldn't come. Now that Wu Lingyu was gone, she stuck to Sima Yue all day. If she wasn't lying on her bed, she would be playing by herself in the house. In the end, even Han Miao Shuang was jealous. This guy, other than asking me to refine pills for him, he doesn't care about me at all. Han Miao Shuang snorted. She took an orange and peeled it. She broke off a piece and fed it to her while complaining. Little Seven, who was lying inside, saw this and opened her mouth to let Han Miao Shuang feed her. Han Miao Shuang had been with Little Seven for these few days and had developed feelings for her. Although she was complaining, she didn't stop what she was doing. She broke off a piece and fed it to her. Little junior brother, how long are you going to rest for? Han Miao Shuang ate a piece. What's wrong? Xiao Xiao and the others are asking. Han Miao Shuang said, those 2 guys, one complained that he couldn't sleep whenever he wanted after coming out. The other complained that it was too dirty outside and didn't want to come out. But he was worried about your condition, so he could only ask me. Those 2 guys, seriously, they didn't even come to see me. Sima Yue pouted. They came, but you weren't awake at that time. Now that they know that you're awake and fine, they didn't come. But every time I go back, they would still ask me about your condition. Han Miao Shuang said. Smelly, it's best that they don't come. Little Seven flipped over on the bed and said. Little Seven, you. Sima Yue wanted to teach her not to despise her seniors. But before she could finish, Little Seven cried out and jumped off the bed. What's wrong with you? Han Miao Shuang pulled Little Seven. That guy came back. Little Seven said. She broke free from Han Miao Shuang's hand and ran out. Just when Sima Yue and Han Miao Shuang were confused, Little Seven's scream came from outside. There was also an old man's scolding and Su Jin's laughter. Chapter 663. Ayaya, let go of me, there are so many people here. Little Seven was grabbed by the collar by an old man with a white beard. She kept waving her hands. I haven't seen you in a few years, but your guts have grown quite a bit. You actually dare to leave the academy. The old man's voice was not as old as he looked. Let go of me, let go of me. Little Seven couldn't beat him, so she could only stare at him with her small eyes. This move is useless against me. Yuan Xiaojie tapped Little Seven's head with his other hand and said, didn't I tell you not to leave the academy? Why are you still here? I've already evolved 3 times, I'm very powerful. Little Seven said unhappily. That won't do either. Yuan Xiaojie grabbed her and said, after I see that little guy, you'll come back with me. No, I want to be with him. Little Seven said firmly. Aren't you afraid that someone will take you away? You know, there are a lot of people who have ideas about you now. Yuan Xiaojie was amused by her determined little face. I'm not afraid. After staying here for so long, even the stones recognize me. I want to follow her. Little Seven said. Why are you so determined this time? Yuan Xiaojie raised his eyebrows. She said that staying by Yoyue's side might allow her to undergo a 4th evolution. Su Jin transmitted to Yuan Xiaojie. Yuan Xiaojie placed Little Seven down and transmitted his voice. You want to be with her, but she can't guarantee your safety. Even if it is dangerous, I have to try. Seven replied. Up to you then. Yuan Xiaojie put Little Seven down without hesitation this time. That straightforwardness made Little Seven stunned. She looked at Su Jin and blinked her eyes. He agreed so easily? Su Jin gave her a look that said he didn't know either, then followed Yuan Xiaojie into the house. Little Seven was still standing in the courtyard. She was very puzzled by Yuan Xiaojie's agreement, but she was more happy. This meant that Yuan Xiaojie would no longer restrict her to the academy. Su Jin didn't seem to care, but when he entered the room, he still asked Yuan Xiaojie for the reason. Why did you agree to her request? When I went out this time, I saw that the outside world was about to change. Many people were eyeing her. Although her current strength was not bad in the eyes of the outside world, it was still not enough. If she can go through the fourth evolution, she will be much safer. Su Jin's footsteps paused. Had the outside world become so chaotic? The two of them entered Sima Yoyue's courtyard. Han Miao Shuang stood up and bowed to them. Dean Master. Sima Yoyue also guessed that the person who came in was the dean, but she thought that he would look similar to Old Man Devil and the others, who knew that he was an old man with white hair and a beard. Yuan Xiaojie seemed to have noticed her surprise at her appearance. He smiled and said, "This looks more like a principal." His thoughts had been seen through. "Greetings, Dean." She nodded towards the courtyard. "Those two guys said a lot of good things about you to me. I don't think they would speak without thinking." Yuan Xiaojie said, "So you have to get better quickly. I still have things for you to do." Sima Yue was confused by his words. What kind of jump was this? He wasn't here to visit her, but to find her for something? It was the first time they met and he said that he had something for her to do. Why did she feel that there was something wrong with the way they opened the door? Yuan Xiaojie laughed when he saw her dizzy look. Then he took out a box and placed it beside the bed, saying, "This is a meeting gift from Master Uncle." Although he had left the sect, he was still a member of the sect in his heart. He looked at Sima Yue as if she was his junior. Little Seven shrank in from the outside. She was sneaky at first, but when she saw the box beside Sima Yue's bed, she screamed and wanted to rush over. But when she passed by Yuan Xiaojie, he picked her up. "That's my meeting gift for you. Don't even think about it." Little Seven struggled and drooled at the sight of the box. "You're bad. I thought about it for a long time and you didn't give it to me. That thing is useless to you." Yuan Xiaojie didn't let go of her. "But it's delicious." Little Seven protested. "It's a waste for you to eat it." Yuan Xiaojie said, "Keep that thing away. Don't let her spoil it." Sima Yue looked at the comical scene and couldn't help but laugh. She kept the thing in her spirit pagoda. Once the thing entered her spirit pagoda, she knew what it was. She was very surprised, but she didn't have much use for it now. Yuan Xiaojie gave her a spirit herb that could heal the soul. This herb was very effective in healing the soul and was regarded as the most precious among all spirit herbs. If she didn't have the spirit fluid, this would be the most precious spirit herb she had. But since she didn't open it in front of them, she continued to pretend that she didn't know what it was. "Principal, you said you had something to do with me just now? It's not urgent. We'll talk about it when you've recovered and returned to the academy," Yuan Xiaojie said. "All right, I've given you the gift. It's time to return to the academy. Old Su, come back with me. I should check on your homework." "Where's Little Seven?" "I'm not going back. I want to be with Little Yu. Little Seven continued to struggle. This time she managed to break free. Once she escaped from Yuan Xiaojie's demonic grasp, she ran towards Sima Yue and pouted her little mouth, ignoring him. Yuan Xiaojie smiled and left with a bitter Su Jin. Su Jin looked at Little Seven enviously. If only he didn't have to go back. Once they left, Little Seven immediately looked at Sima Yu with shining eyes. Sima Yue patted Little Seven's head and said, "This was given to me by the courtyard. And it's useless to you. But it's the only thing that tastes good." Little Seven said, "Master, this spirit herb still has its roots in soil. It can be planted." Little Spirit suddenly transmitted to her. "Then plant it," Sima Yue instructed. Then she said to Little Seven, "I can give you a little, but I can't let you eat it all." "Okay." Little Seven smiled and nodded. Sima Yue took out the box and opened it. She saw a little herb with a few stems and leaves lying inside. She thought for a while and plucked all the stems and leaves. Only the stems and roots were left. Then she gave the stems and leaves to Little Seven. You're the best." Little Seven took the spirit herb and kissed her on the face. Then she ran out quickly. Han Miao Shuang saw that Sima Yue gave most of it to Little Seven and said reproachfully, "Even if you like her, you have to give it to her. Don't always spoil her." "She likes it." Sima Yue smiled. She didn't mind. She kept the spirit herb and put it back. Little Spirit took it and planted it. The roots of the spirit herb were well preserved. It could grow stems and leaves after planting. That was why she could be so generous and give it to Little Seven to play with. But Han Miao Shuang didn't know. Seeing her like this, she shook her head helplessly. Chapter 664. Sima Yue had been recuperating for a few days. With the help of the soul fluid, she had recovered quite a bit. She no longer needed to be pinned down by them. She couldn't figure it out. Her soul was clearly injured, So why didn't they allow her to use the lullaby and force her to stay inside? Thinking about how she had been lying on the bed for so long, she roared in her heart more than once. This is not scientific. After a week she could finally lie down. She felt that if she continued lying down she would really become moldy. Today, with Shimin Feng's support, she finally stepped out of the room and walked into the courtyard. The air outside is still fresh. She took a deep breath and felt much more satisfied. You said that we wouldn't let you out, but look at you, you're already panting after taking a few steps. I told you to lie down for 2 more days but you didn't listen. Shimin Feng said discontentedly. Feng, if I continue to lie down I will grow hair, do you know? Sima Yue laid down on the chaise lounge in the courtyard, and Shimin Feng sat down beside her. Can humans grow hair? You are not a monster. Shimin Feng helplessly covered Sima Yue with a blanket. Because her soul was injured, she was especially afraid of the cold, so Shimin Feng specially prepared a blanket for her. Oh right, I haven't seen Xiangyi recently? Sima Yue asked. Shimin Feng's hand slightly paused and said in a deep voice, she had something to do and left. Is it because you were ambushed last time? Sima Yue narrowed her eyes and asked casually. Shimin Feng was silent for a while but still answered honestly, yes. Looks like you know who did it? Yes. Well, now that we know who did it, let's get back at them. Sima Yue curled up in the blanket. We are not people who can be bullied. If you provoke them, I'll let Little Rock lead the bird clan to crush them. I guarantee that there will be feathers all over the ground. Shimin Feng speechlessly glared at her. You're still hiding here. That's why we shouldn't let them off so easily. Sima Yue thought about how she almost lost her brother and Feng, or almost lost her. She was furious and wanted to kill those people herself. Don't worry, I won't spare those people. Shimin Feng gnashed his teeth and said. Feng, have you ever thought of building your own force? Sima Yue suddenly asked. Build a force of my own? That's right. Although you were rescued from the Kong Valley, you didn't join the Kong Valley. You can't be considered a proper member of the Kong Valley. Sima Yue said, besides we have to deal with more than 1 or 2 enemies. We can't defeat them alone. That's right. Whether it's the Zhongzheng clan or the Yin Yang Palace, or even the Sage Pavilion behind them, which one of them isn't powerful? Cough cough. Sima Yue coughed a few times and waited for her to calm down before continuing. Although I have Little Rock and am also the Junior Valley Master of the Divine Devil Valley, we can't involve them in our personal vengeance. The Bird Clan and the Divine Devil Valley have no obligation to help us take revenge. So the best way is to build our own force. Actually, I've thought of this as well. But it's too difficult to build a force. First of all, we don't have enough resources. So it's just an idea. Shimin Feng said. If we want to build a force, it's not something that can be done in a day. But it's not like we don't have a way. Sima Yue said, a force needs alchemists, armament masters, array masters and beast tamers the most. Other than armament masters, I can take a look at the rest. With the spirit pagoda, these aren't a problem. As for armament masters, since I'm free now, I'll study it when I have time. Fatty said that it's not difficult. Then have you ever thought of letting them join in? Shimin Feng asked. Sima Yue shook her head. I want to use this force for revenge. If they join in, I'm afraid that they'll get into trouble. I won't ask them to join, but I won't hide it from them either. Actually, it's better if they join us. That way we won't be lacking in these occupation masters. Shimin Feng said. Although I think so too, but... Sai, let's ask them for their opinion. Sima Yue said. Other than occupation masters, we don't have anything else. Shimin Feng said, especially the most important resource for a sect, the Ormine. We don't even have it. Now that all the Ormines have been taken over by various sects, it's easier said than done to find another Ormine. Sima Yue wasn't anxious and said, have you forgotten that I have another identity? Seeker Spirit Master? That's right. She said confidently. So what if all the Ormines have been taken over? We'll just find an Ormine that no one has discovered yet. Seeing that Shimin Feng was stunned and obviously didn't believe her, she took out a book and flipped to the first page for him to see. Soul Seeking the Source. Shimin Feng saw the title of the book and exclaimed softly. With this, why can't your sister become a Seeker Spirit Master? Hey kid, don't look down on your sister, understand? She kept the book and reached out to poke his forehead. Moreover, even if I can't do it, we can find third MO. What's there to worry about? But we can't find in or mine in such a short time. Shimin Feng said, even if you can find it in the future, there must be people who are willing to join our force. But But this is a newly established force. How can we let others join us? How can we make them work for us wholeheartedly? Sima Yue voiced out Shimin Feng's worries. Yes. Shimin Feng nodded. Establishing a force is different from our previous clan. The people in the clan will naturally be willing to work hard for the clan, but those people might not. Even if we give them pills and spiritual weapons to support them, they might still drop the ball when the time comes. So we can't use ordinary people. Sima Yue smiled. Can't use ordinary people? Shimin Feng was confused by his own words. If he understood what she meant before, he didn't understand what she meant now. Yes, if we can't use ordinary people, then we'll use extraordinary people. Sima Yue smiled. Who are the extraordinary people? Those who want to die but don't want to. As long as they can live, they will do whatever it takes. And we are the condition for them to live. Sima Yue said. Shimin Feng immediately understood what she meant. You want to look for those fugitives? That's right. Sima Yue nodded. Those fugitives are capable if they can survive. Even if they can't fight against 10 people, they can fight against 4, 5, 6 or 7 people. Your idea is good, but if we want these people, firstly they might not be willing. Secondly, their old enemies will become our hidden danger. Happy reading every day. Chapter 665. Sima Yue had also thought about the 2 points mentioned by Shimin Feng. He was right. Since these people were outlaws, it was not easy to get them to join her force. Not to mention that if she accepted them, she would have to pay for what they did in the past. Let's leave this matter to the future. She saw Shimin Feng frown and said, Actually, it's not like there's no way to solve this problem. Have you thought of a solution? Shimin Feng looked at her expectantly. In the past, whenever he encountered a problem, he would tell her and she would always be able to come up with a solution quickly. It would be great if we could expand our forces so much that no one would dare to challenge us. Sima Yue said. Shimin Feng's eyes lit up as he smiled and said, You still have a way. As long as they develop their forces to the point where others would not dare to touch them easily, even if they knew that their enemies were here, who would dare to come and cause trouble? When the time came, they would step forward to mediate, and those old grudges would be resolved. If he really couldn't resolve it, then he would just go overboard. In any case, you might dare to hunt down one person, but would you dare to hunt down the entire force? Of course, who's older? Sima Yue said proudly. Yes, you're the boss. Shimin Feng smiled and said, Since we've decided, then we still have to prepare resources in the early stages. Otherwise, when those people come, we won't have anything for them to cultivate with. Yes, we can plan this out first. Sima Yue said, I'm still a student of the academy, so I don't have much time. I'll have to rely on you for the preparation and the rest. Don't worry, I will take care of these things. Shimin Feng said. I've always been assured of your mobility. Sima Yue reached out and patted Shimin Feng's head, just like in the past. However, it's best to keep this matter a secret, so the Kong Valley, I know how to tell them. But I'm afraid Xiang Yi won't be so easy to convince. Shimin Feng said. Xiang Yi is a good girl. What do you think of her? If you're interested, we'll marry her. Although our Shimin clan only has you, but just based on this point of Little Peng, you are more than enough to match the young miss of Kong Valley. If you're not interested in her, you should make it clear as soon as possible so that she won't waste her time with you. Sima Yue looked at him meaningfully. I understand. Shimin Feng said. What do you mean by, understand? Do you understand your own feelings or do you understand what I'm saying? Sima Yue beamed. Tell me, do you like me? Sis, why are you asking this? We are talking about establishing a force. Shimin Feng said awkwardly. Of course I'm concerned about you. Sima Yue retracted her hand and said, You are the only one left in the Shimin clan. You have to bear the heavy responsibility of carrying on the family line. It would be best to give birth to a nest of children, and then they would give birth to another nest of children, and the sooner Shimin Feng's family develops, the better. Sis, what happened that year really wasn't your fault. Don't blame yourself too much. Shimin Feng suddenly said. The smile on Sima Yue's face slowly disappeared. She leaned back on the chair and let the sun shine on her face. She closed her eyes and tears suddenly fell. If it wasn't for me, if it wasn't for me. She was still brooding over what happened that year, and it was impossible for her to truly let it go. Even if all her enemies were dealt with and the Zhongzheng clan and Yin Yang Palace were destroyed, she still wouldn't be able to let it go. Because those who passed away would never come back. Her peaceful and beautiful life would never come back. Sis, if father and mother knew that you always blame yourself even if they are in the ghost realm, they would be worried. Shimin Feng said. Sima Yue suddenly opened her eyes and looked straight at Shimin Feng. That gaze made the latter a little scared. Why are you looking at me like that? Ghost realm, you just said the ghost realm. Sima Yue said, after a person dies their soul will enter the ghost realm. Then father and mother also went to the ghost realm? Could they have survived? This isn't quite possible. Shimin Feng said uncertainly. Doesn't that mean it's possible? Sima Yue said. Maybe. Shimin Feng said, we don't know much about the ghost realm. We don't know if a soul can survive there. We also don't know if a person can go there if they are not dead. After Shimin Feng said that, Sima Yue's eyes dimmed a little. She didn't say anything else. Just then there was a movement at the entrance of the courtyard. The two of them looked up and saw Kong Sangyi walking in from outside. Yue, are you feeling better? Kong Sangyi walked over and put his face in front of Sima Yue. He looked at her carefully and said, your face is so pale and your eyes are so lifeless. Why haven't you recovered after such a long time? It's the most troublesome for us cultivators to injure our soul. Luckily it's not impossible to recover. Sima Yue said. Are you comforting me? Even if you say that, I still feel very guilty. If it wasn't for us, Feng wouldn't have broken the seal. If he didn't fall into such a dangerous situation, you wouldn't have exhausted your consciousness and entered the chaotic world. Kong Sangyi said with self-blame. Feng chose to break the seal. You don't have to blame yourself. Sima Yue said, besides, aren't we all fine? She saw Shimin Feng's reaction just now. She knew him so well, how could she not know what he was thinking? Since they were all family in the future, and the matter of the seal was decided by Shimin Feng himself, how could she blame him? Kong Sangyi didn't think so. She cupped her fist and said seriously, in the future, Xiangyi's life is your life. Whatever you want me to do, as long as it doesn't hurt the Kong Valley, Xiangyi will do it. Don't say that. If you don't do it, Feng will hate me to death. We'll be family in the future. Sima Yue teased. What nonsense are you talking about? Kong Sangyi glared at Sima Yue. What, you don't want to be family with me and Feng, or Feng won't hate me? Sima Yue said and looked at Shimin Feng. I wanted to let Feng propose to the Kong Valley when the time is right. It seems like you're not willing. Feng, since Xiangyi isn't willing, don't force her. I'm not unwilling. Kong Sangyi quickly denied. That means you're willing. Sima Yue laughed. Seeing Kong Sangyi's red face, she laughed even more happily. Yue, if you continue to tease me, I'll ignore you in the future. Kong Sangyi was embarrassed by her words and threatened. You can ignore me? You have to call me sister in the future. If you ignore me, don't you want to follow Feng? Shimin Feng saw that Kong Sangyi wanted to dig a hole in the ground after hearing Sima Yue's words. He stood up and carried Sima Yue saying, you've been out for so long today. It's time to go back. Sima Yue nestled in Shimin Feng's arms. Feng, don't forget sister when you have a wife in the future. Happy reading every day. Chapter 666. Kong Sangyi blushed when he heard Sima Yue's words. She didn't expect that Shimin Feng would help her out. Thinking of what Sima Yue said, she felt that she didn't know how to face him. She thought to herself that she should leave first, but she had something to ask of him, so she could only wait in the courtyard with a red face. Shimin Feng carried Sima Yue to the bed and covered her with a blanket. I know that Xiangyi is looking for you. Go ahead. Sima Yue said to Shimin Feng after lying down. Teasing was just teasing. Kong Xiangyi, who had left for so long to investigate that matter, must have brought back some news that she needed to discuss with Shimin Feng. Shimin Feng had also guessed it. He tucked her in and warned, lie down properly. If you want to go out, I'll take you out to get some sun tomorrow. Okay, Sima Yue replied. Shimin Feng went out, and when he opened the door, he heard her say, if you want to go out, take little Pring with you. All right. Shimin Feng knew that if he wanted to bring Little Rock along, there would definitely be a bunch of old birds following him, or he might even be able to find some local bird clan to accompany him. She was worried about him. She had guessed that the person who had injured them back then was quite powerful. She knew that they were going to take revenge. Even if they couldn't completely eradicate the other party, they would at least make a big move that would make the other party spit out a mouthful of blood. Little Ping didn't need to personally go to the battlefield, but the same couldn't be said for the people around him to protect their master. Especially Sima Yue's accident this time, it was all because she forced Shimin Feng to remove the seal. Therefore Little Peng and the others also wanted to avenge Sima Yue. Sima Yue understood what Little Peng and the others were thinking. That was why she said those words. She thought of the worried look in Shimin Feng's eyes before he left and sighed faintly. Alas, it's really troublesome to injure the soul and divine sense. She wasn't someone who could calm down easily. Now that she had to lie down like this every day, she was really suffering. Shimin Feng came to the courtyard. When Kong Sangyi saw him, the blush that had just been pushed down quietly reappeared. She's just bored these days, so she's joking with you. Shimin Feng saw her like this and subconsciously explained. Then what do you think? Although Kong Sangyi's face was very hot, he still firmly stared at Shimin Feng's eyes. There were only the two of them and he understood her thoughts. Naturally she would want to get a response. He had her in his heart. After so many years of feelings, he had finally reciprocated. But if she didn't have him, what would he do? Give up? No. She liked him, so she wouldn't give up easily. If he really didn't have her in his heart, then she would always be by his side and let him only have her in his eyes. She would get what she wanted one day, right? Although she had already mentally prepared herself, her heart still couldn't help but speed up. Would he answer her? Or avoid it like before? Unexpectedly, Shimin Feng stretched out his hand and gently tucked her hair that was blown up by the wind behind her ear. Then he said, "My current status is naturally not worthy of you." Kong Sangyi's heart that was originally jumping because of his action, suddenly fell to the bottom. It was still the same answer, but he had just tucked her hair, which was an improvement compared to before. She still wanted to encourage herself in her heart, but Shimin Feng's voice sounded again. Shimin Feng took back his hand and said, "If I want to be with you, naturally I have to have a status that is worthy of you. But this may take a long time. Are you willing to wait?" Her heart that had just sunk to the bottom suddenly floated up. Looking at Shimin Feng's serious expression, she suddenly cried tears of joy. She hugged him and cried out in surprise, "I'm willing to wait for you. No matter how long it takes, I'll wait for you. Feng, I'm so happy. I'm really so happy. I thought that you didn't have me in your heart. What should I do? I'm so happy that I'm about to die." Kong Sangyi was used to being arrogant and despotic in front of outsiders. Kong Sangyi was used to seeing him as the master by his side. Seeing this excited little woman who didn't know what to do, his usually cold face couldn't help but soften a lot. Cough cough. Jingwen, who came in from outside, saw the two people in the courtyard and coughed twice. Kong Sangyi immediately let go of Shimin Feng. She wanted to stick to Shimin Feng, but she knew that he didn't like to be like this in front of others. "You two are here whispering sweet nothings to each other. Have you said anything serious?" Jingwen walked over and casually asked. Seeing that the two of them were somewhat unnatural, he knew that they definitely didn't say anything. He knew it. "Jingwen, you're here?" Sima Yuyue's voice came from the house. She still had that kind of weak appearance. "Since you're back, why don't you come in and chat with me?" "Sure." Jingwen excitedly walked into the house. After taking a few steps, he didn't forget to turn back and say to the two of them, "Since you two want to be ching-ching, I'll say something serious first. You already know that they want to whisper sweet nothings to each other. Hurry up and come in." Sima Yuyue shouted from inside the house. Aren't I here now?" Jingwen pushed open the door and went in. He didn't close the door. Although he wasn't here often these days, his relationship with Sima Yuyue had improved a lot. When that **** came back from the academy, she didn't know who Jingwen was. But seeing him take Shimin Feng's pulse, she guessed that he should be a doctor. Later on, when she asked him to help her, it was indeed confirmed. Later on, when she woke up, she found out that he was the one. Kong Sangyi said that the heart protection pill was effective for Feng. And the heart protection pill was made by him personally. So he was also an alchemist. At first, she thought that Jingwen was from the Kong Valley. Later on, she found out that he was just a friend of Shimin Feng and Kong Sangyi, the kind that had a good relationship. Since he was her brother's good friend, she also treated him as a friend. So when she woke up and Jingwen came to see her, she would talk about medicine or alchemy with him. Jingwen originally admired her a lot, but after interacting with her a few times, he admired her even more. Because he didn't know that Sima Yuyue was a girl, he often went to chat with her. And Shimin Feng couldn't say it out loud, so he told him not to close the door every time he went into the house. Jingwen felt that his request was a bit strange, but he still agreed. Now that he heard Sima Yuyue call him in for a chat, he naturally ran over. After being teased again, Kong Sangyi was really embarrassed. Shimin Feng looked at Sima Yuyue's door and said lightly, "Let's talk outside." When it came to serious matters, Kong Sangyi changed into her usual self, nodded and followed him out. They left Sima Yuyue's courtyard and came to a place where there was no one. Shimin Feng then asked, "What did you find out this time?" Chapter 667. Kong Sengyi handed over the information he had found to Shimin Feng and said, "At that time, other than Lanfang sect, there were also people from 10,000 Red Cloud sect who attacked us. How did these two sects get together?" Shimin Feng looked at the information in his hands and was a little surprised. "Are you surprised?" Kong Sengyi said, "On the surface the Thousand Cloud sect seems to be on good terms with our Kong Valley. Who would have thought that they would have such intentions towards us behind our backs? I think they're working together because of the ore vein we found last time. And I didn't think that the matter of the mine would be leaked out. I'm afraid that the Kong Valley will have more trouble in the future." Shimin Feng said, "Have you found out who leaked the news of our whereabouts in the mine?" "We've already found out. Father and the others have dealt with him." Kong Sengyi said, "The mineral vein that we discovered is indeed enviable, but if anyone wants to touch us, it won't be that easy. This time we lost because we weren't prepared. We even put you and Yue in danger. Now that we're prepared, it won't be so easy for them to succeed." "Aside from this, what else did you come here for today?" Shimin Feng asked. "Yes." Kong Sengyi said, "We found out that the young lord of the Lanfang sect will be leaving the sect today. Are you interested in eliminating him? Was he also one of the people who surrounded us? Lanfang sect is led by him. When are we leaving?" "Now. What's the rush? We are going to set up an ambush in advance. The people from Lanfang sect are about to set off." "Alright, give me a moment." Shimin Feng wanted to look for Little Rock, but Sima Yue had instructed him to bring him along if he wanted to leave. But before he could take 2 steps, he saw Little Rock leading a group of people over. "You said that you will definitely leave. We will go with you," Little Rock said. Shimin Feng was surprised to see the people beside Little Rock. Weren't they in the Spirit Pagoda? How did they come out? Could it be that the Spirit Pagoda was exposed in front of Jingwen? Jingwen only stayed in the house for a while before he was chased away by Yu. Little Peng explained. "Alright, follow me. Let's go." Kong Sengyi took out a temporary formation and activated it on the ground. Then he led the group out of Tianfu City. Sima Yue couldn't feel the movements outside, but she guessed that Shimin Feng and the others had already left. Lying on the bed, she thought about what Jingwen had just told her. He said, "Yue, hurry up and get better. This way we can go to the Alchemist conference in Fengli City together." She did not have much interest in this alchemy conference, but the words that he said after that made her a little interested. "It's just an alchemy assembly. What are you so excited about?" "Of course I'm excited. This time the Fengli City's Alchemist Assembly will hold a competition. I heard that many alchemy geniuses will participate." Jingwen was very excited when he said this. "I don't know those people, so I'm not interested." Sima Yue yawned. "I heard that many alchemists from the inner regions are also coming." Jingwen said. "Why are you so excited about the inner circle coming? Don't tell me they aren't people with 1 nose and 2 ears? This is something you don't understand." Jingwen said mysteriously, "The inner circle's alchemy techniques are different from ours. If we participate we can watch them refine pills." Sima Yue thought that he was excited about something. She didn't think that he was just curious about alchemy techniques. It's a pity that even if you see it a few times, as long as no one teaches you the principles, you won't be able to learn it. You just say, "Oh," and that's it? Jingwen was very dissatisfied with Sima Yue's reaction. "If it was before, I might have gone to join in the fun. But now, I feel that the most important thing for me is to increase my strength." Sima Yue said. "You can slowly increase your strength, but this alchemist assembly doesn't happen every day. Especially on such a large scale. It might not even happen once in a few decades. Oh, I'm still young. I can wait until the next time." Sima Yue said, "Besides, I'm now a student of the academy. I can't go just because I want to." "The Heavenly Sect also wants to participate," Jingwen said. Sima Yue was a little interested. She looked up at him and said, "You know a lot." "Of course." Jingwen said proudly, "Not only do I know that the Heavenly Sect will be going this time, I also know that they have participated before and lost. But they seem to place a lot of importance on this assembly. I think they have something against someone." Sima Yue pondered in her heart. Could this be what Yuan Shaojie wanted her to do? Let her participate and then come back with a ranking. The more she thought about it, the more she felt that it was possible. But it might not be so, so she didn't show it on her face. "Then when will the assembly be held?" "There's still a year." Jingwen said, So if you want to participate you have to get better within a year. As alchemists, our consciousness is the most important. But it's the most troublesome to recover from an injury to the consciousness. It also takes a long time. Your injury is so serious. If you want to fully recover, I'm afraid it will take you a year and a half. This can't be rushed. Sima Yue said now. But you're right. You're still so young. Even if you participate next time, your age should still be within the range. Jingwen comforted her. There's an age limit? Of course there is. This is the industry's rule. The people who participate in the alchemy assembly may be of all ages. But the people who participate in the competition are only under 200 years old. Jingwen said, my age this time is just right. If I wait for the next time I will be over the age limit. Sima Yue looked at Jingwen up and down. Then she faintly spat out a sentence. So you're not talking about old monsters? Old monsters? Did he look that old? Sima Yue laid on the bed and thought about whether or not this was what Yuan Xiaojie was talking about. But she couldn't think of an answer. She was too lazy to think about it. Little Seven ran in from outside and she played with her for a while. Little Seven, you seem to be very afraid of Principal Yuan? When Little Seven heard Yue mention Yuan Xiaojie, she pouted and said, I can't beat him. He always locks me in a black room. I don't like black rooms. He also doesn't allow me to leave the academy. Until now, a part of her body was still in that black room. But she didn't plan to say this out loud. She didn't want Yue to think that she was a monster. Locked in a black room? Could it be that this principal also abused children? This shouldn't be. Master and martial uncle didn't say that he had such a hobby. Then was he protecting Little Seven? Could it be that Little Seven was in danger outside? Although she didn't know what Little Seven was, but since Principal Yuan didn't allow her to leave the academy, it should be very dangerous outside. But why did he allow Little Seven to follow her outside? Chapter 668. Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Godly Doctor. Chapter 668. Sleep and you advance in level. Chapter 668. Sleep and you advance in level. She called out a scarlet bee and said, Little Seven, can you bring it with you wherever you go? Bring the little bee? Little Seven took the scarlet bee. She had a good impression of this kind of spirit beast that could transmit information. She took it and placed it on her hair. The scarlet bee held on to her hair and did not move. It looked like a hairpin. This is my scarlet bee. I have made a contract with their king. It will be with you. If you meet with any danger you must inform me immediately. Sima Yue explained. Little Seven's heart was moved. She knew that Yue was really good to her. She was really worried that she would be in danger. Although she guessed that her identity would bring her trouble, she didn't chase her away. Instead, she kept the scarlet bees by her side. She touched the scarlet bee on her head and truly accepted her. If she had stayed by her side with a purpose in the past, now she really wanted to be with her. Little Seven, you can play in the courtyard. Don't run around. I'm a little tired, I'll sleep for a while. Sima Yue felt tired and quickly fell asleep. Little Seven knew that Sima Yue slept more after she was injured because she would feel tired after waking up for a while. She thought for a while and got down from the bed. She stood beside the bed and bit her finger. She dripped her blood into Sima Yue's mouth. 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops. She dripped 9 drops until Yue could not take it anymore. Only then did she retract her hand. Yu, who was sleeping, felt as if she was trapped in a cocoon and couldn't move. Suddenly she felt as if she had drunk a sweet fruit juice. It tasted so good that she even smacked her lips twice. That fragrant smell cleared up her muddled mind, and the shackles on her body disappeared. She broke out of the cocoon that had wrapped around her. Little Seven sat on the stool and watched as Sima Yue advanced in level. She felt that her divine sense had recovered and smiled in satisfaction. Although Sima Yue was in a deep sleep, the sound of her advancement woke her up. She quickly sat up and crossed her legs. She entered a state of cultivation and successfully advanced in level. She opened her eyes and saw Little Seven sitting on the stool opposite her and smiling at her. She was confused by the situation in front of her. I advanced in level? Little Seven nodded. You're not dreaming? Little Seven shook her head. How did I advance in level? I don't know, you advanced in your sleep. Little Seven said. Did he just advance while sleeping? Sima Yue was speechless at this statement. Was there anyone who could advance in rank while sleeping? The answer was no. My divine sense is much better. She found that her spiritual sense had improved a lot. Previously she was always very tired, but now she felt refreshed. Of course there was still a long way to go before he fully recovered. However, compared to the 2 months he had been in a coma, it was much better. She glanced at little Seven. Did her advancement have anything to do with her? She didn't believe that she advanced in her sleep. She smelled a faint fragrance in her breath. It was the same smell as in her dream. Little Seven must have fed her something to advance in level. Thank you, little Seven, she said gratefully. Hee hee. Little Seven smiled. She didn't admit or deny what she did. She knew that Yue wouldn't ask her if she didn't say anything. It wasn't that she didn't want to tell Yue her identity. She felt that if Yue knew, Yue wouldn't treat her like this. She would either be careful or have other intentions. She liked the way things were now. Sima Yue didn't continue asking. She felt her own strength and felt that she had advanced too quickly. She stayed in the 9-star ocean for less than a year. With the help of her godfather, she advanced from a high-level divine king to a high-level divine overlord. Now, only 3 months had passed and she had broken through divine overlord and entered divine emperor. This speed was faster than a rocket. Although she had advanced by a large level, her beasts hadn't. They had just advanced and needed more power. One advancement wasn't enough for them to advance again. But they still gained a lot of power. She believed that if Sima Yue advanced again, they wouldn't be far off. First level divine emperor. She really wanted to go to the spirit pagoda to test the power of a divine emperor. But with little Seven here, she could only think about it. Sima Lai and the others felt the energy waves and rushed to her courtyard. She was injured, so she shouldn't be the one to advance. Shimin Feng and the others had left, so it definitely wouldn't be them. So they were worried that someone had come here by mistake. They were even more worried that that person would hurt Yue. But when they came to the courtyard and saw Sima Yue, they were stunned. That aura that hadn't stabilized, wasn't it a high-level divine emperor? She advanced to divine emperor? Yue, were you the one who advanced? Yinlan asked uncertainly. Yes. Sima Yue smiled. You. How did you advance? Weren't you injured? Sima Yue thought about it and said, I don't know. I just fell asleep and advanced. Everyone was stunned. She could advance while sleeping? Haha, no matter how you advanced, it's good as long as you advanced. Sima Lai laughed. Has your divine sense recovered? Not completely, but it's no big deal. Sima Yue said with a smile, there's still some left. I just need to recuperate. They all knew that she had spirit fluid. Recuperating was to nourish her. Good. Good. It's good as long as you're fine. Sima Lai was very happy. Sima Yue's previous appearance really made his heart ache. She looked very weak and listless. It was better to be like this now. Yin Lan, Sang Muyu and Bei Gonghang were also happy for her after their initial shock. Sima Lai was right. No matter how she advanced, as long as it wasn't an unorthodox method, it was good. You look better now. Yue, you have to be more careful next time. Don't do such dangerous things again. Yin Lan looked at Sima Yue as if she was her own daughter. She was injured and unconscious and her heart ached. I will be careful next time, Sima Yue said. She would be careful next time, and not overdraw her divine sense so much before entering the chaotic world. Originally, when her divine sense was exhausted, she would be fine after resting for a month or so. But because she entered the chaotic world, she couldn't recover in a year or so. She glanced at the sky and felt that there were some fluctuations in the air. Her divine sense hadn't fully recovered, but it was still stronger than normal people. She could still feel the fluctuations even though they were so close. The space tunnel opened and a group of people walked out. When they saw Sima Yue in the courtyard, they rushed over. Red, please remember our address. Download, please go to. Chapter 669. Sima Yue caught Shui Qing Man, who threw herself at her and asked curiously, Godmother, why are you here? I heard that you were injured and unconscious, so I came to see you. How are you? Shui Qing Man let go of Sima Yue and sized her up. I'm fine. I'm almost fully recovered. Sima Yue allowed her to examine her body. Godmother, it's not time for you to take the pills yet. How did you hear that I was injured? Because something happened, we sent someone to look for you. In the end, he went back and said that you were injured and unconscious. Shui Qing Man said. Did something happen in the clan? Did you fight with someone? Sima Yue asked with concern. Yes. Shui Qing Man said. Yue, since they are here to visit you, let's talk inside. Sima Lai reminded her. Shui Qing Man let go of Sima Yue and smiled at Sima Lai. You are Yue's grandfather, right? I'm her adoptive mother. According to seniority, I should call you uncle. The corners of Wu La Xiu's and the others' mouths twitched. Mother had lowered their seniority just like that? He walked over to Sima Yue and asked, "What happened to you?" The messenger said that you were very serious and scared us. Imperial Mother said that she wanted to come, but at that time, the war was urgent and she couldn't come. It was a little dangerous at that time, but it's fine now. Sima Yue said, "Did you guys fight with others? If that's the case, why are you still here? With father, big brother and second brother around, it'll be fine. Furthermore, we are currently stuck in a stalemate. It doesn't matter if we come out for a while," Ural said. Big brother and the others said that if it weren't for the war, they would have come to see you. Wu Laxiu said. "Let's go inside and talk." Sima Yue held Shui Qingman's arm and brought them into her house. She introduced them to each other. "Child, tell me what happened to you at that time. Who injured you? Let your brothers take revenge for you." Shui Qingman patted Sima Yue's hand and asked. "Godmother, no one hurt me. I was careless and entered the chaotic world." Sima Yue said embarrassedly. "How did you enter the chaos world? Don't try to fool us. Tell us everything." "How should I put it? When I made a deal with Big Brother, I exchanged the Black Sea Cucumber to save my brother. You all know about this." Sima Yue said. "I heard from your big brother." Shui Qingman said, "Is this related to your injury this time?" "Originally, it had nothing to do with me." Sima Yue continued, "Feng accidentally entered a place and a strange force entered his body. Later on, I sealed it. In the past, I collected medicinal herbs in order to destroy the power in his body. Since it's sealed, it shouldn't be difficult to deal with it. Why would it put you in danger?" "It wasn't dangerous at first," Sima Yue said, "but someone surrounded and attacked them. At that time, the situation was urgent. He broke the seal and released that force. The situation became very urgent. When I was saving him, I used up all my divine sense. That's why I accidentally entered the chaotic world. You're really something. Even if you want to save someone, you should know your limits. How could you put yourself in danger?" Shui Qingman said. That accusing gaze made Yue admit defeat. Yes. I'll take note next time. It's all because of those people who surrounded and attacked Feng. If it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be so many problems. Wu Laxiu said hatefully. That's right. Wu La agreed. Do you know who attacked you? Feng and the others have already gone to investigate. We don't have to get involved. Sima Yue said, You said you fought with someone just now. What's going on? It's all because of those stinky eel clan. Previously we were busy saving Mother and the entire clan kept a low profile. But because of that, those eel clan forgot who was the boss of the sea. Wu Laxiu said. You guys fought just like that? When we sent you off we caught a few stinky eels. They actually sent people to investigate. The last time you advanced they already caught a few. This time, Father got angry and brought people to talk to them. In the end, the discussion fell through and they started fighting. You guys kept a low profile all these years, but your strength didn't decrease much. How did you guys end up in a tug-of-war with the eel clan? Sima Yue didn't understand. When she was in the Ninth Star Ocean, she understood some of the powers around the Violet Water clan. This eel clan was definitely not a match for the Violet Water clan. Because they colluded with the Water Dragon clan. Wu La said, the Water Dragon clan is slightly weaker than us. But with the two clans colluding together, it's still difficult for us to win. Luckily you left us a lot of pills before you left, so we haven't lost yet. But these pills are almost used up. Then how long can you guys stay this time? Sima Yue asked. About 10 days. Shui Qingman said, this was originally our estimated time. But since you're fine we plan to go back earlier. Adoptive mother, since you guys are here then you guys should wait a while. We'll refine some pills for you guys to bring back. Sima Yue said. Your injuries haven't healed yet. Wu Laxiu said disapprovingly. My consciousness has already recovered by more than half. Although it's not as good as before, it's still not a problem to refine these pills. I'm already at the stage where practice makes perfect. Sima Yue said. Forget it. If you're like this we'll feel sorry for you too. Shui Qingman said. Adoptive mother, don't worry. I won't put myself in danger again. Sima Yue said, I'll go back to the academy and find my friends to refine pills with me. That way we'll have more. Adoptive mother, this is your first time on land, right? You guys can treat this place as your home. You can let Auntie Lan and the rest bring you around the streets. Mother, since 10th brother has already said so, let's stay. Wu Laxiu said, didn't you say last time that you wanted to see how humans live? We can take a good look around here. Alright then. But we can't wait too long. Shui Qingman was originally worried about Sima Yue. Now that she saw that she was doing well, she started to worry about the Ninth Star Ocean. Alright then, I'll accompany you guys at home today. Tomorrow I'll go back and find someone to help, Sima Yue said. On the morning of the second day, she entrusted Shui Qingman and the rest to Sima Lai and returned to the inner courtyard. After thinking about it, she decided to go to Parting Garden first. Chapter 670. As soon as Sima Yue walked into the yard, Su Xiaoxiao came over with a broom and said excitedly, "Junior brother, you're finally back. How are your injuries?" "I'm feeling much better." Sima Yue said, "Are you cleaning again?" "That's right. You didn't see how dirty this courtyard was a few days ago. It was simply unbearable to look at. Originally, Big Brother and I wanted to see you, but we were caught by Master to work for him. Now the principal is back and wants us to work for him, so Big Brother and I have no time to see you." Su Xiaoxiao complained. "What did Master ask you to do?" Sima Yue asked with a smile. "What else can we do? We just have to deal with Principal Yuan's matters." In the end, Principal Yuan came back before we were done. We didn't pass the inspection, so we continued. I had just finished, so I had time to clean the yard. "It's too dirty?" Sima Yue looked at Xiao Zhao's angry face. His obsessive-compulsive disorder must have caused him a lot of pain recently. "Eldest senior brother went to sleep?" "Yes, he went to sleep as soon as he came back. He hasn't slept for the past few days. He'll probably sleep until the sky turns dark," Su Xiao said. "Little junior brother, wait in the courtyard first. I'll tidy up the house for you before you go in. Don't bother. Senior brother, is senior sister here?" "She should be there." Su Xiaoxing was about to shout towards Han Miao Shuang's house when he was stopped by Sima Yue. "Senior brother, don't shout. I'll go find her myself." She covered his mouth and said, "Alright then. Go ahead. I'll continue to clean up the yard." Su Xiaoxiao left with the broom. Sima Yue went to Han Miao Shuang's house. This guy had been dragged back to work for the past few days and was now sleeping soundly in the house. Sima Yue knocked, but Han Miao Shuang ignored her. After some thought, she took out a roasted chicken drumstick and ate it. The person sleeping inside sniffed and immediately opened his eyes. He ran over and opened the door. I knew you were back. Oh, it smells so good. Is there anything for me?" Sima Yue saw that she was still in her pajamas. She entered the room and closed the door. "Put on your clothes and wash up first." Although Han Miao Shuang really wanted to eat it, but Sima Yue said that she couldn't eat it if she didn't wash up. Thus, she quickly went to tidy herself up. After she was done, Sima Yue took out a grilled chicken drumstick for her and watched her eat. She then asked, "Are you guys busy recently?" Han Miao Shuang shook her head. "Master won't let us continue doing things now." "Then do me a favor," Sima Yue said. "What do you want us to do for you?" Sima Yue took out a pill formula. Han Miao Shuang glanced at it and was immediately interested. "This is a very ancient pill formula. How did you get it?" "I got it by accident." Sima Yue said, "I need a lot of these pills now. Can you and the seniors help me refine it? This is for the spirit beasts." Han Miao Shuang guessed it when she saw the herbs. "Yes." Sima Yue said, "How about it? Can we? We haven't refined this before. But this pill's level isn't high. It's only level 6. It shouldn't be a problem to refine it. How much do you need and when do you need it?" Han Miao Shuang said confidently. 10 days. Including today. As for the quantity, the more the better. Sima Yue said. "No problem." Han Miao Shuang promised. Sima Yue took out an interspatial ring. It was filled with the herbs needed to refine this pill. "Go and tell eldest senior brother and third senior brother. If they are willing, you can show them the pill formula." Sima Yue said. "Okay, I'll go and find them now." Han Miao Shuang took the pill formula and was about to leave. Sima Yue pulled her back. "Wait a while before you go. Just now, third senior brother said that you guys just finished. He's tidying up the courtyard. If he doesn't, he will feel uncomfortable all over. Eldest senior brother, let him sleep for a while." "That's fine too." Han Miao Shuang put down the pill formula and sat down to continue eating. "What about you?" "I'm going to find my friends. They know how to refine it too. I'll go with them." Sima Yue said. "Okay, I'll leave it to you. I'll come back in 10 days. Sima Yue left the parting garden and went to find Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei. In the end, both of them weren't there. She could only take out the Mother Stone to contact them. The two of them came back quickly. "Yue, you're back. I heard that you were injured. Are you okay now?" "I'm fine. Sima Yue said, I'm looking for you guys. Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei looked at each other. They didn't know why Sima Yue was looking for them. I've already set up a spirit barrier. Come in with me. Yue brought the two of them into the spirit pagoda after she finished speaking. 10 days later, Sima Yue took a ring full of pills and went out. She went to the array to leave the inner courtyard. The two of them were still guarding there. She took out Su Jin's token and they let her in easily. After she left, the two of them continued to drink, eat, and chat. Principal Yuan is talking about her, right? Should be. Isn't she Su Jin's disciple? Principal Yuan actually placed his hopes on her. It's a little unimaginable. It's normal for Su Jin's disciple to be unimaginable. I hope she can do it this time. Whether she can do it or not, we can't do anything about it. Come, let's continue drinking. Sima Yue returned home. Shui Qingman and the others were waiting for her. 10th brother, you're finally back. If you didn't come back, we would have left. Wu Laxiu said. Sima Yue saw that they were a little anxious and asked, What's wrong? Is there a change in the war? Yes. We received news yesterday that the Water Dragon clan is sending troops over. There should be a big battle in the next 2 days. Wu Laxiu said. We wanted to leave yesterday, but we remembered that today was the agreed time, so we waited for another day. Since that's the case, I won't keep you guys. Sima Yue took out the space ring and passed it to Shui Qingman. Godmother, there are pills inside. Bring them back. They can be put to good use. Shui Qingman used her divine sense to scan and saw thousands of bottles of pills. She asked curiously, These were all refined by you guys in the past few days? Sima Yue knew that the number of pills inside would scare her. She explained, These were all refined by everyone. You know, there are many alchemists in the inner courtyard. Thank you, child. Shui Qingman hugged her and opened the space tunnel to leave. Wu Laer and the others also said goodbye to Sima Yue and followed her in. Shui Qingman was very nervous when she received the news. Now that she was back, she was very confident. She believed that with so many pills they would be able to get through this crisis. Chapter 671. In the Ninth Star Ocean, Third Mo was running with all his might. A few squid behind him swung their long tentacles at him, but he cleverly dodged them. Another tentacle attacked him from the side. He dodged but was caught by another tentacle. Let's see how you're going to escape now. That squid grabbed Third Mo and waved its tentacles in the water. Open! Third Mo shouted. A long sword appeared out of nowhere and pierced towards the tentacle. The long sword was incomparably sharp and directly chopped off the tentacle. Third Mo's body trembled as he struggled free from the tentacle and caught the long sword. Ah! The cuttlefish that had its tentacles cut off swam around in the water. Its other tentacles swung around and hit a few cuttlefish near it. Third Mo took advantage of the chaos and continued to swim upstream. It would be more advantageous for him to get out of the water. He would be restricted underwater. Stop fighting. Hurry up and chase after that human. Don't let him go to the surface of the sea. A cuttlefish shouted. Only then did the other cuttlefish stop and continue chasing after Third Mo. Third Mo's speed in the water wasn't fast to begin with. In addition to his injuries, the squids quickly caught up to him. The squid surrounded him and said, Brat, hand over the thing and we'll let you die a quick death. Since the item is already in my hands, how can I return it to you? Third Mo raised his sword and faced them. So many of you have died, yet you still dare to chase after me? Truly a bunch of people who don't fear death. Thinking of their dead clansmen, the cuttlefish retreated. Third Mo snuck into their clan's land and stole the item. Not only was he not killed in the clan's land, he even killed many squids and successfully escaped. However, he was also severely injured. Don't be scared by him. He's already heavily injured. He's no match for us, shouted one of the squids. Let's quickly capture him and bring him back. This place is not far from where the Violet Water Tribe and the Water Dragon Tribe are fighting. If we encounter them, we'll be in trouble. Another one reminded. Yes, let's attack together. Do you think we're afraid of him? That's right. He is now an arrow at the end of its flight. Everyone attack together. Third Mo saw that they were not intimidated by his aura, so he made a feint at them and took the opportunity to swim upstream. However, before he could swim 2 meters, he was enveloped by the stench they released. That aura almost suffocated him and his body became soft. His movements became much slower as well. A few squids surrounded him and dozens of tentacles intertwined to form a net, enveloping him inside. Then they spat out a huge bubble trapping Third Mo inside. As soon as third Mo entered the bubble, a foul stench assaulted his nostrils. It was even worse than the smell from before. It almost made him vomit out the rice that he had not eaten for a few months. He told himself not to breathe and then gathered all his strength to attack the bubble. But no matter how he attacked and how the bubble changed shape, it would not break. The squid wrapped the bubble with its tentacles and smiled proudly. So what if you killed so many of our clansmen? Haven't you been captured by us in the end? Ah, let's go. Since you don't want to hand it over, I can only bring you back and torture you slowly. Who cares how powerful you were before? Now that you're in our clan's territory, just wait to be cut into pieces. Ah. Third Mo felt that he was about to faint from the smell. That smell seemed to have an anesthetic effect, and his divine sense became more and more blurry. So, an ice arrow suddenly shot out and directly hit the bubble. The bubble that was stuck inside was pierced by the ice arrow. Third Mo seized the opportunity and pulled hard, tearing a hole in the bubble. When the squids saw the ice arrow floating in the water, they were shocked. That's the Violet Water Clan's little prince's ice arrow. Haha, it seems like you're not stupid. You know that it's mine. Wuxia swam over with a bow in his hand. There were 3 ice arrows on it. He released the bow and the 3 ice arrows shot towards the squids. BFFF. The 3 squids that were hit by the ice arrows spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground dead. Little prince, what is the meaning of this? A squid looked at its dead clansman and glared at Wuxia. I was about to ask you the same thing. Your squid tribe's territory is not here. Wuxia condensed another ice arrow and attached it to his bow. But this is also not the Violet Water Clan's territory. We are capturing people here. Little prince, aren't you overstepping your boundaries? Is that so? Wuxia aimed the bow in his hand at the squid that had spoken. This is the border of my Violet Water tribe. It has been so since ancient times. We haven't set up any defenses here these past few years. You seem to have forgotten this. Did you really think that this place had become someone else's territory? After Wuxia finished speaking, the ice arrow shot out. The squid that spoke quickly dodged, but the ice arrow seemed to have grown eyes. While it was dodging its tentacles, it tracked down its heart and ruthlessly pierced it. The other squids were scared silly. This little prince's combat strength was actually so strong. Little prince, we were wrong. We will leave now and never come here again. Wuxia put down his bow. The squids secretly sighed in relief, thinking that the other party was planning to let them go. Thank you for your forgiveness, little prince. We will leave now. That squid wrapped itself around third Mo, but before it could move, it was entangled by a water whip. The water whip tightened and the squid was strangled to death. Following that, the water whip let go of the squid and gently wrapped around third Mo, dragging him from the squid behind them. The squids all turned their heads and saw Wuxia holding third Mo in one hand and the water whip in the other. Beside him was Shuiqing Man. Didn't you agree for us to leave? What is the meaning of this now? When did I agree for you to leave? Wuxia looked at them coldly. Since you have come to our territory, then stay as guests. Wuxia and Wuxia worked together and those shrimp soldiers and crab generals were all taken care of by the 2 of them. When third Mo came out of the bubble, he was still dizzy. Although he did not know these people, he could tell that they were saving him. Especially when Wuxia gently dragged him over, he was even more certain of his thoughts. But why did they help him when he did not have any relations with their clan? After eliminating all the squids, the 2 of them worked together to clean up the corpses. Mother, it's all done. Wuxia smiled and came over. When third Mo heard the words little prince and mother, he guessed that they must be that clan's royalty. He calmed himself down and bowed to Shuiqing Man. Just as he was about to say a few words of thanks, he heard Wuxia ask, "You are third Mo, right? 9-Headed Birds Academy." Chapter 672. Third Mo was very surprised, but he did not show it on his face. He denied it and said, "You've got the wrong person." Apologize. How is that possible? You look exactly the same as the portrait 10th brother gave us. How could we mistake you for someone else? Wuxia couldn't believe it. I don't know anyone from your clan. I don't even know which clan you are from. How could I possibly know your 10th prince? Third Mo still refused to admit his identity. At the same time, he was also guessing the identity of Shuiqing Man and the others. Why would the queen and prince of a race be willing to save him? They know my identity. Could it be that they saved me for some reason? Ural had also encountered such situations when he was traveling on land. He knew that Third Mo was not clear about their identities and would not admit his identity. Thus he explained, "We are from the Violet Water tribe. Our 10th brother is not a member of our clan but a human." A human? Third Mo's mind started to spin again. How could a human become the prince of the Violet Water clan? What was his motive for showing them his portrait? "You don't have to doubt the reason why we saved you." Shui Qing Man smiled and said, "We were also entrusted by Little Ten to help you if we meet you at the bottom of the sea if you have any difficulties. We mean no harm." "Thank you, Your Highness, for saving my life. However, you're mistaken. I'm not the person you're talking about." Third Mo denied. His trip to the 9th-star Dark Sea was a secret. Not many people knew about it, let alone someone who had become a prince of the water race. Although he was very grateful to them for saving him, he did not want to put himself in danger as the matter he was here to do was of great importance. "Little Ten is Sima Yue." Shui Qing Man smiled as she looked at Third Mo's shocked expression with satisfaction. "Yue?" Third Mo was truly shocked this time. How come he didn't know that Sima Yue had become the Violet Water Tribe's 10th Highness? "Judging from your expression, you know 10th brother, right?" Wula Xiao said, "10th brother told us to help someone called Third Mo if we see him. Now tell me, are you Third Mo?" Third Mo was a little embarrassed as he bowed toward Shui Qing Man and said, "I didn't know your identity so I hid it from you guys. I'm really sorry." Little Ten said, "If you meet you, you may not admit your identity, but as long as you mention her name, you will understand." Shui Qing Man said, "Thank you for saving my life." Third Mo thanked them again. "What are you thanking me for?" "Your 10th brother's friend, so you're naturally a friend of our Violet Water clan." Wula Xiao said, "You're quite capable. You don't have any human aura on you. If it weren't for the fact that you look so much like the portrait Yue gave me, we wouldn't have cared about this." "Alright, 9th brother. Don't talk to him anymore," Ural said. "He's seriously injured. Let's go back to the palace first." "That's true. If there's anything we can talk about it when we get back," Wula Xiao said. "Eat the elixir first before you leave," said Shui. Chapter 673. You don't have to worry too much. They have more people than us but we have pills. A single pill could fill up half a person. The number of people we have added up isn't less than them. Shui Qing Man said. "That's true." Wulali said, "I took a look just now. I'm afraid there are over 1,000 pills." "How did she know that we need so many pills?" Wulali asked suspiciously. "She doesn't know." Shui Qing Man played with Wulali's palm. "She told us when we went there. Then she told us to wait for 10 days and went to the school to find help." I heard Lu, and the others say that human alchemists place great importance on pill recipes. Yu also said that not many people know about this pill recipe. She asked someone to help refine this pill, so this pill recipe was exposed. Wulali said. "That's right. Yu is a good child. We won't lose out if we take her as our goddaughter." Shui Qing Man said. "I know. You've said it several times already. Our Violet Water tribe didn't treat her unfairly either. In the future, we will be her pillar of support in the underwater world." Wulali looked at Shui Qing Man in amusement. "Yes, we should really let those people understand what kind of race we are," Shui Qing Man said. This time, the Water Dragon clan participated in the battle between us and the Eel clan in order to suppress us and become the leader of the Water Dragon clan. Dream on. No matter how hard they try, they can never become real dragons. Wulali snorted. Sigh, if the Divine Dragon was still around, the Dragon clan wouldn't have so many problems. Shui Qing Man sighed. Divine Dragon? That was a very long time ago. Wulali said, "I don't know what happened that year, but the Divine Dragon, Divine Bird, Divine Turtle and Divine Tiger all disappeared. Since ancient times, the Azure Dragon of the left, the White Tiger of the right, the Black Tortoise of the north, and the Vermilion Bird of the south were all in charge of managing the spirit beasts under them. However, at some point in time, the Vermilion Bird, Mystic Illusion, Azure Dragon, and White Tiger all disappeared from the continent, and the spirit beast world gradually became chaotic. I wonder if the Dragon God will return one day." On the other hand, the Prime Minister did not get anyone to bring the pills over. Instead, he delivered them personally. Wulali was in the middle of a meeting with Wulali Shang. A group of Violet Water Tribe members were standing guard at the front. Your Majesty, Your Majesty." The Prime Minister bowed to the two of them. "Prime Minister, why are you here?" Wulali asked. "The Queen and the others came back from the mainland and brought back a lot of pills. The King ordered me to send some to everyone." The Prime Minister said. Imperial Mother and the others are back? How is 10th brother doing? Wulalu asked. It's said that he's fine, the Prime Minister said. How many pills did they bring back? Wulali asked. I have less than half. I think there should be more than 1,000 of them, the Prime Minister replied. It just so happens that the medicinal pills from before are almost used up. These medicinal pills came at the right time. Wulali smiled. Didn't she say that she was going to visit a patient? Why does she still have so many pills for us? Wulalu said. This, I don't know either. The Prime Minister replied. Give me the medicinal pill. Then go back and ask Little 9 and the others about Little 10's situation. Wulalu instructed. Yes, second. Prime Minister, you don't have to go back and ask. Wulali said as he looked at Wula Xiao and Wula Air swimming over. Prime Minister, you can go back. Wulalu waved his sleeves. Yes. The Prime Minister left and met Wula Xiao and the others. He bowed to them and then returned to the palace. Big brother, second brother. Wula Xiao and the others swam over. Why are you here? We came to check on the situation here. We heard the horn blowing just now. Wulalu said. A group of people came just now but we beat them back. Wulalu said. You came at the right time. Tell us about 10th brother. How is he? Who injured him? He's doing well now. Wula Xiao and the others told them about Sima Yoyue's situation and how they saved 3rd Mo. With the support of the pills, the Water Dragon clan and the Eel clan can wait to be defeated by us. Wulalu said confidently. First, second, the other party is attacking again. A clan member ran over to report. Pass down the order. Those who don't have any pills come here to get them. Then move out together and make sure that none of them will return. Wulalu instructed. Yes, second. The person went down to pass down the order. Wula Xiao put his hands together and pressed each finger. We've been away for so many days. Let's meet them today. If we don't teach them a lesson today, I'm afraid they won't grow any brains. Then the two of you will take the lead today. Don't fight with their strongest people. Pay attention to your safety. Wulali warned. We understand. Wula Xiao finished speaking and left in high spirits. Sima Yue didn't know about the situation at the 9th Star Ocean. After she sent Shui Qing Man and the others off, she greeted Sima Lai and took Little 7 back to the sect. When she returned, Han Miao Shuang and the others were still cultivating. For her pills, the 3 of them didn't rest at all. In addition to helping Su Jin, they were exhausted. Sima Yue didn't disturb them. She walked around and went to find Sima Yulin and the others. She wanted to see how the team was doing. Little 7 ran off alone when she returned to the sect. Sima Yue wasn't worried about her safety here. She didn't know where she ran off to. This time she went to the cultivation pagoda. When she came to the first floor, there was a teacher who swiped a card at the entrance to manage the order in the pagoda. She saw that when the students entered, they would pass the card to the teacher and tell him how many days they would stay. The teacher would then swipe the number on the card. When she stood in the pagoda, she felt more abundant spirit energy and a richer fragrance. This fragrance, she was slightly stunned. This smell was so familiar. This smell? You're back. Fatty Chu just came out of the pagoda and ran over. I just came back, Sima Yue said. The last time she came back, Fatty Chu was still in seclusion. The two of them didn't see each other. I heard that you were injured before you went into seclusion. It's a pity that we couldn't ask for leave and couldn't go out. It's good to see that you're fine now. Fatty Chu looked her up and down and confirmed that she was fine. I came back once before but I didn't see you, Sima Yue said. Are you going back now? You're not here to cultivate? No, I just came to take a look. I'm going to look for Big Brother and the others. Then let's go. When a person who just walked to the square heard Sima Yue's name, his eyes lit up. He hurriedly turned around and saw Sima Yue and Fatty Chu walking outside. He subconsciously followed them. Chapter 674. Sima Yue. Sima Yue heard a stranger's voice calling her. She stopped and turned around. She did not see anyone she knew. Are you Sima Yue? A short boy with a big knife came to Sima Yue and asked with his chin raised. Who are you? Sima Yue asked. He didn't seem to know such a person. I'm Yifeng. People call me Madman. Yifeng replied. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Was he the rumored lunatic of the inner yard? It was different from what he had imagined. In her expectation, the person who liked to fight should be a tall and burly man, not this delicate and pretty boy who was only a few centimeters taller than her. She looked at him from head to toe. Other than the big knife that was worthy of the title of a lunatic, everything else about him seemed normal. Are you Sima Yue? Yifeng asked. You've got the wrong person, Sima Yue said calmly. She knew what this guy was up to the moment he found her, but she wasn't in the mood to fight with him right now. You're mistaken? I heard someone call you Sima Yue, how could I be wrong? Yifeng scratched his head in confusion. You must have heard wrongly. Maybe someone was calling someone else. Sima Yue said and wanted to leave. Yifeng ran in front of Sima Yue and blocked their way. I know it's you. You're mistaken. He continued to deny. Impossible. Unless you can prove it. Yifeng said. How do you prove it? Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Fight me. If you win, you'll prove that you're not. Yifeng said shamelessly. I'm a new student and you're one of the top 20 on the billboard. Do you think it's appropriate for you to challenge me? Sima Yue asked. Suitable. Yifeng said, do you agree or not? If you don't agree, it means that you are Sima Yue. Sima Yue was defeated by his shamelessness and said, even if I were Sima Yue, I would never fight with you. What? Yifeng asked. Because I'm not interested in your kind of challenge. Sima Yue said, besides, I'm injured. You won't fight with an injured person, right? You're injured? Why can't I see it? Divine sense. Sima Yue said, you know, if your divine sense is injured, it will affect your battle. You definitely don't want to have an unfair advantage, right? Yifeng lowered his head and thought about it seriously. He nodded and said, you're right. You're injured now, so I can't fight with you. I'll look for you later. After saying that, he carried his broadsword and left. Yue, you're in trouble. Fatty Chu looked at Sima Yue pitifully. What's wrong? Sima Yue continued to walk forward. It's said that those who are pestered by this lunatic won't give up unless you fight with him. He'll keep pestering you until you agree. Fatty Chu said. It's okay. He can't enter the parting garden. Sima Yue said. That's true. When you can't stand him, you can go to the parting garden. He won't dare to barge in. Fatty Chu said with a smile. Let's go. We'll see what my brother and the others are doing. We'll also see how the team is doing. The two of them returned to their room and saw Sima Yuchi and the others sitting together discussing something. What are you talking about? She walked over and sat down. She looked at them and asked, you came back just in time. Sima Yuchi said, we're discussing some things about the team. What's wrong with the team? Did you encounter any difficulties? We didn't encounter any difficulties. Our team only has these few people. There aren't any internal conflicts. Sima Yuchi said. Then why do you all look so worried? Sima Yue didn't understand. We were just discussing whether or not we should take on a mission. Sima Yuran said. Take on a mission? That's right. Sima Yulu said, we've been cultivating in the spirit pagoda for the past few days. We've almost used up all our cultivation points. You've used it up so quickly? Sima Yue asked curiously. We're still a little better. That's because new students have a guaranteed amount of cultivation points. Sima Yuming said, but we don't have a job system. We can't use our own products to exchange for cultivation points. That's why our cultivation points are used up faster. Sima Yuchi explained. I say the first few times I came, you all went into closed-door cultivation. Sima Yue said. Since that's the case, we really have to think of a way to earn cultivation points. That's why we're discussing this. Sima Yuchi said, most teams rely on accepting missions. We've also gone to see if there's anything suitable for us. Is there? Fatty Chu asked. There are a few that are not bad. Sima Yuchi handed a few pieces of paper in front of everyone. These missions are what we picked out. They're not very difficult missions, but the cultivation points are relatively high. Sima Yue looked at one of them. It was written on it. Go to the dark forest and get 10 flamingo eggs. You can get 1,000 points. There were only a dozen of them. Just this mission alone could give them 100 points of cultivation points. And this was enough for them to cultivate in the cultivation pagoda for 3 months. This mission was not bad. She looked at another one. It was written on it. Kill the 10 great evildoers in the periphery. You can get 1,000 points for killing one of them. And these 10 people were ranked. The higher the ranking, the higher the cultivation points. This is also considered a mission from the sect? She couldn't help but ask. Yes. Sima Yuchi said, we've already investigated these 10 people thoroughly. They are all unforgivable evil people. They specialize in kidnapping and pillaging. Among them, There are even a few who rely on absorbing the essence of women to increase their strength. It can be said that every one of them is full of evil. Their death is not regrettable. Sima Yue looked at the ranks attached to them. Their strength was not particularly strong. It was not to the point where they couldn't be dealt with. These people don't look very powerful. Why is the cultivation points of this mission so high? Because those people are too evil. But they have a lot of means to protect their lives. They are not easy to kill. Sima Yuran said, and this mission has been issued for a long time. The sect's missions have a deadline. If this mission is issued within a certain time and no one completes it, the cultivation points will be increased accordingly. Were there many people who took this mission before? Sima Yue asked. Many, but no one succeeded. At first, the 10th place only had 500 cultivation points. It increased by 100 in 2 years. Now it has increased to 1,000. No one succeeded in 10 years. That's right. Sima Yuran said, and the students who took the mission would get information about these people from the sect. But when they went, they would lose track of the prey. Chapter 675. Is everyone so cunning? Sima Yue lowered her head and looked at the names of the 10 people. The first person's cultivation points had reached 5,000 points and he was only an ultimate god. Everyone is crafty, especially the first one. His strength is not the highest, but his cultivation is the highest. In other words, he is the hardest to deal with. Sima Yuran said. Actually, I don't really agree with choosing this mission. Sima Yuming said, we just started accepting missions, so it's better to choose something easier. I prefer to go to the dark forest to look for flamingo eggs. It's similar to the missions we took before. In the past, when they were in the Capital Institute, they would often accept such missions from the Institute. They would go somewhere to do something or look for medicinal herbs. If we want to take on the task of finding flamingo eggs, we can also take this one. Sima Yulin said, when we were choosing the mission, we heard the teacher say that there were 2 people who happened to be in the dark forest. If we're lucky, we might run into them. If we're unlucky and don't see them, then we have nothing to lose. That works too. What do you think? Sima Yuchi asked. I have no objections. Fatty Chu had never cared about these things. As long as he could refine armaments, cultivate, eat and sleep well and be with everyone, he was fine with anything. I also have no objections. Wei Ziqi said. Previously, he had accepted 2 taming missions and earned some cultivation points. Now he was not short of them, so this time he mainly followed them and did not take the lead. Me too. Sima Yue didn't have much desire for the cultivation pagoda because there was an even more powerful spirit pagoda. Ouyang and Beigong were not around. They were still recuperating. However, if it was a unanimous decision, the 2 of them would not disagree. It's settled then. Sima Yuchi said, we mainly take on the task of finding flamingo eggs and then take on the task of killing them. All right. By the way, is there a time limit for this mission? Sima Yue asked. In theory, no. However, most of the time limit won't exceed the amount of cultivation points obtained. In theory? Think about it. If you go on a mission and spend a year's time, but you only get a month's worth of cultivation in return, it's not worth it. Sima Yulin explained. That's why those people usually set a time limit for themselves to carry out missions based on the cultivation points they obtain. Sima Yu nodded in understanding. Instead of spending time on an impossible mission, it was better to go back and choose another mission. As for those missions that he couldn't complete, his cultivation points would rise again and again. Have you found out where the Dark Forest is? The Dark Forest is located in the central continent and is a rather dangerous place. It's about the same as the Pu Luo mountain range in the Yilin continent. Sima Yulin said. Because many people went in and never came out, it was called the Dark Forest. The central prefecture? That's still a bit far away. Sima Yue said, since it's not easy for us to go out, let's see if there are any missions along the way. We can complete them together so that we don't have to go out again in the future. Everyone felt that this was reasonable, so they looked for a mission in the central prefecture. This mission is rather difficult, but the location is in the central prefecture. Wei Ziqi took out a piece of paper and passed it to everyone. Investigate the strange things that happened in the bright red mountain peak recently. Fatty Chu looked at the mission on the paper and said, what kind of mission is this? It doesn't explain the situation. Look below. Wei Ziqi said. The danger level is actually 4 stars. Fatty Chu looked at the 4 little stars below and cried out in surprise. Why is it so dangerous? This means that there's something fishy going on there. I've checked this mission as well. Because a few students who accepted this mission died, the difficulty increased. The cultivation points also increased. 10,000 cultivation points. Fatty Chu looked at the cultivation points column and cried out again. If it's 10,000 each of us can get 1,000. It's enough for 2 to 3 years. Sima Yue said. Not bad, let's accept this mission. Won't it be too dangerous? Sima Yulin asked uncertainly. It's definitely dangerous. If not, the sec students wouldn't have died. Sima Yue said, but the rewards are generous, right? With Yu around, the danger will be reduced by quite a bit. Fatty Chu said. Why don't we give it a try? Wei Ziqi said. Sima Yue had so many ways to protect her life, so there shouldn't be any danger. Sima Yulin thought about it and agreed. A team can only accept 3 missions at a time. Let's confirm these 3. Sima Yuqi said, does anyone have any objections? No objections. When Bei Gong and Ouyang Fei come out, we'll ask them for their opinions. If they agree, we'll confirm it. Sima Yulin said. Okay. Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei came out of the room in the evening. Sima Yuqi went to look for them and told them about the missions. Both of them didn't have any objections. So Sima Yuqi went to the teacher in charge of the missions on the second day and accepted the 3 missions. The teacher looked at the missions they accepted and looked at their team, saying, are you sure you want to accept the 3rd mission? It's a little difficult for new students. Yes, teacher. We're sure we want to accept these 3 missions. Sima Yuqi said. The teacher saw that he was firm and didn't say anything else. He recorded their missions and gave them a badge. With this badge, the sect would recognize the missions they completed. And with this badge, they could leave the inner sect. Sima Yue took out a mother stone and connected to Little Seven. She told her when they were going to accept the mission and asked if she wanted to go with them. She also told her where they were going and what missions they were going to accept. Little Seven was with Yuan Xiaojie at that time. When she heard that she was going to leave, she jumped off the stool and wanted to run, afraid that he would make her stay. Why are you running so fast? Yuan Xiaojie grabbed her. I didn't say you can't go. You agree to let me go? Little Seven looked at Yuan Xiaojie in disbelief. Go out for a walk. It'll help you evolve. Yuan Xiaojie said, take this. When you're in danger, it can take you out of danger temporarily. He stuffed a small box into Little Seven's arms and let go of her clothes. Little Seven kept the box and left his house with her braids. She went to find Sima Yue. When Sima Yue put down the mother stone, she heard a voice that gave her a headache. Chapter 676. Sima Yue, how are you today? Yifeng walked in with his big knife. When he saw Sima Yue standing at the door, he walked over. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. Didn't this guy just ask about it last night? Were they planning to visit him 3 times a day? Until she's fully recovered and then fight him? Looking at it now, Fatty's pitiful look yesterday really suited her. This lunatic was more of a headache than she had imagined. Lunatic, I won't be able to recover for the next half a year. You don't have to come and find me every day. She said helplessly. Half a year? That long? Yifeng's face fell. Of course. My soul is injured and my divine sense is damaged. Of course it would take me that long. Sima Yue said, and this is under the condition that we have the support of good pills. Otherwise it would take even longer. So don't come looking for me for the time being. I can't compare to you even if you look for me. So you'd better leave quickly. She felt that she had expressed her meaning very clearly, but a certain someone did not understand and was still standing in the same place. Isn't this taking too long? How impatient. Yifeng said. Sima Yue shrugged, looking as if there was nothing she could do even if she was anxious. Yu, when are we leaving? Little Seven walked in and saw the 2 of them standing in the courtyard. Where are you going? Yifeng asked in surprise. Our club has accepted a mission and we're going to do it. Sima Yue said, we still need to make some preparations so we won't keep you. Where are you going to do the quest? How long will it take? Yifeng asked. He shouted when he saw Little Seven walking towards Sima Yue. Little Seven? Why are you here? Why can't I be here? Who are you? Little Seven only knew to ask who Yifeng was after she replied. Little Seven waved her hand and interrupted him, saying, I don't care who you are, hurry up and leave, otherwise I'll send you flying with one punch. Yifeng's face was red, but he seemed to be afraid of Little Seven. He didn't dare to say anything and just left with his head lowered. Sima Yue saw that Yifeng, who had been chattering around her, turned around and left because of Little Seven's words. She asked in surprise, Little Seven, why is he so obedient to you? Little Seven didn't know either. Maybe it's because I beat him up before. But I don't have any impression of him. It seemed like Little Seven often beat people up in the past. Actually, Little Seven didn't beat up Yifeng. The reason why he listened to her was because he had seen her send the second place on the leaderboard flying with one punch. Yifeng himself wasn't a match for the second place. Compared to Little Seven, who ended the battle with a single punch, he didn't dare to provoke him. Yu, when are we leaving? Little Seven happily pulled her hand and asked. She was so happy that she could finally go out and take a look. We are ready, but before we leave we need to ask Principal Yuan. We need his permission to bring you out. Sima Yue said. He has already agreed. We don't need to go, let's go. Little Seven said. He knows that you're going out? Sima Yue was surprised. Was the principal a god and knew everything? Because when you contacted me I was in his house. When you looked for me he heard it. Little Seven said. He even gave me a protective amulet. What protective amulet? Little Seven took out the box and opened it. Sima Yue saw a few one-time array stones inside. The array stones were carved with intricate patterns. One look and you could tell that it was made by an expert. At least, she wasn't able to make such a good one-time array. The better the one-time array, the shorter the activation time and the further the teleportation distance. The amulet that Principal Yuan gave her was indeed a life-saving amulet. However, he also knew that not many people would discover Little Seven's identity at this time. There wouldn't be any powerful people from the outside world who would come to capture her. Keep this well. If you encounter any danger, activate it and inject your spiritual energy into one of the array stones. Do you understand? Sima Yue returned the box to Little Seven. Little Seven kept the box and said, Can we go now? Wait for them. We can go when they're done. After a while, everyone came to the courtyard. Once everyone was present, they went to the teleportation array in the inner sect. Going out again? Seeing Sima Yue, the two people in the teleportation array recognized her. This time we're going out to complete a mission. Sima Yue said. Sima Yuchi handed over the mission plate that the sect had given them to take a look. One of them condensed his spirit energy and drew a few lines on the array on the ground saying, This is the array that will lead you to the central province. It's random. As for where you will be sent, it will depend on your luck. Sima Yue and Sima Yulin were shocked. He only used his spiritual energy to draw a few lines on the array and it changed completely. Sima Yue couldn't help but look at the two guards. What kind of people were they? They were so skilled in arrays, but they were only here to guard the array? Let's go. Bei Gongtang saw that she was still in a daze and poked her lightly. They came to the array and it started to activate. After the group of people disappeared, the array lines that were drawn with spiritual energy gradually disappeared. Did you see his expression just now? I saw it. Looks like he knows arrays too. Should be. Just now, his eyes were fixed on you as you set up the array. His hands were moving around unconsciously as if he was learning. There are many array masters here. If they can learn a thing or two, it's their ability. We don't have to hide it. Principal Yuan asked us to stand guard here because he had the same idea. Haha, that guy wants us to be teachers. He can only use this method to let others learn. There will always be a few people who can learn something. Those guys have to hurry up. We can't stay here for long. Yeah, time flies. In a blink of an eye, there's only 5 to 6 years left. 50 years of my life have been wasted here just like that. It's all because we were tricked by him. Who asked you to make a bet with him? Even I have to stay here with you for so long. Sai, there are benefits to staying here. Didn't we improve a lot in these few years? When we go back, we might even improve more than those guys. Maybe. Sima Yue and the others didn't know how long they stayed in the array. When they stepped on land again, they were already in Central Province. Thinking back to when they were crossing the void, the space tunnel was so stable. This was just a temporary array, but it was so stable. She was suspicious. What kind of expert was the one who set up the array? Chapter 677. Sima Yue looked around. They were on a boundless grassland. She did not know where the dark forest was or where the town was. C. Why don't we randomly choose a direction to try? Sima Yulu said. Not good. This kind of grassland stretches as far as the eye can see and we don't know how big it is. We also don't know if there are any hidden dangers. If we were to walk around carelessly, we might end up in danger. Wei Ziqi said. Then I'll have to ask someone. Fatty Chu looked around. There's most likely no one here. Looks like we can only try looking for spirit beasts. That's the only way. Sima Yue said. Scree. A giant eagle flew over from afar. When it saw Sima Yue and the others, it wanted to catch two of them for dinner. He didn't expect to be subdued before he could even make a move. Don't be afraid, we're just asking for directions. Because of little Peng, she decided to let this person off. What do you want to ask? The giant eagle asked. Where is this? West Coast Desert, the giant eagle replied. Where is it located in Central State? Southeast. Where is the dark forest? How far is it from here? I don't know. I've never been there. Where's the nearest town? The giant eagle rolled its eyes, stretched out its huge wings and pointed in a direction saying, Go in this direction. Fly for 2 days and you'll see the town. After Sima Yu and the others finished asking their questions, they got the giant eagle to leave. After flying into the air, a hint of ruthlessness flashed in the giant eagle's eyes, and then it flapped its wings and flew away. Since it doesn't know much, why don't we go to the city and ask around to understand the situation? At the same time, we can see if there are any teleportation arrays. Sima Yulin said. All right. In order to hurry, Sima Yue called Chongming over. It was the strongest and the fastest. But even so, they still didn't see the shadow of a town after flying for 2 days. F***ck, we've been tricked by that bald bird. Fatty Chu cursed. What should we do now? Let's continue forward. Sima Yuchi said, We've already walked so far. If we turn back, we won't be able to find that bald bird. Who knows if it's telling the truth about the town ahead? What if this is also a trap? Sima Yulu disagreed. Everyone thought about it and agreed. This direction was a trap for them. Whether or not there was a town was still unknown. That damned bald bird, don't let me see it again. Otherwise, I'll definitely roast it. Fatty Chu said hatefully. I want to eat wings. Seven said. Hey, there's someone below. Sima Yuming said. Everyone looked down and saw a black dot moving on the ground in the distance. It looked like a person. Sima Yue patted Chongming's back and Chongming flew over. When he got closer, he realized that it was actually a very charming woman. There was actually a single woman in this place. It seemed a little unusual. However, they had no choice but to ask her about the situation. Hello. Bei Gong Tang was the only woman here, and was sent to chat with that woman. That woman was still on guard when she saw them. She looked at Bei Gong Tang and the people behind her warily and asked, What do you want to do? Don't be afraid, we won't do anything to you. We just want to ask if there's a town here? Bei Gong Tang asked. Why should I tell you if there is? That woman was not so afraid anymore, but she was unusually cold. Bei Gong Tang thought about it and took out 2 medium crystals, saying, If you tell us, we'll give them to you. That woman took the crystals and pointed in another direction, saying, We'll reach in 2 days. 2 days again? She wouldn't be tricking them again, right? Come with us. Bei Gong Tang said. Sure, 20 medium crystals. That woman said without hesitation. Bei Gong Tang turned around and glanced at them. Seeing that they didn't object, she took out 10 medium crystals. We'll pay the other half when we reach. Okay. The woman took the medium crystals and straightforwardly called out her flying beast. She brought Sima Yue and the others in the direction she pointed. This time they were careful and let the other party bring them there. As expected, they saw a small town after walking for 2 days. We're here. This is the town. That woman landed at the city gate and stretched out her hand to ask Bei Gong Tang for the remaining medium crystals. Bei Gong Tang straightforwardly gave her the crystals. After that, they saw her whistle to an old man guarding the city gate. Old Wu, we've received the goods. Oh, not bad this time. You brought so many people. The old man guarding the city gate had already sized up Sima Yue and the others. He said satisfactorily, Not bad, the pigs this time are very fat. That's right, all of them are the best. The woman said. Old Wu took out a bag of medium crystals and said, We'll go with the usual price. 10 medium crystals per person, half for the children. Here. That woman took the bag and kept it with a smile, saying, Then I'll leave first. Hey, what do you mean? Fatty Chu and the others stopped the woman. The woman raised her chin, saying, What do I mean? It's so obvious, don't you know? Ah, I hope you have a good time here. The woman laughed loudly. Sima Yuchi and the others' expressions were ugly. They were not idiots. How could they not see that this woman had sold them out? The woman laughed loudly and left. How could Sima Yue and the others let her go? However, the moment they moved, a group of people ran out from the city and surrounded them. You are now our slaves. Obediently come back with us to work. Old Wu tapped the smoking pipe in his hand and said faintly, Is that so? We don't know what kind of ability you have to make us work for you. Sima Yuchi snorted. This is the West Coast Desert. You're standing on our land. Once you're here, you have to listen to us obediently. Otherwise you won't even know how you died. Old Wu threatened. Old Wu, I'll leave first. That woman cupped her hands to Old Wu and turned to leave. You want to leave after tricking us? Sima Yue laughed and let go of Little Seven's violent body. Little Seven leaped and disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. A dash, the woman's scream was heard. Everyone looked over and saw that she was already lying on the ground. Little Seven stood beside her and looked coldly at the corpse on the ground. When Old Wu's subordinates saw Little Seven's indifferent expression, they were all shocked by her move and broke out in cold sweat. Wasn't she a child? How could she be so strong? Old Wu reacted and waved at those people, saying, "Capture them all and send them to the mine. Those who resist will be killed." Originally /BK/HL/Ch. Chapter 678. Mine? Who are you people? Sima Yulu asked. Who are we? Old Wu raised his head and laughed. You're already here, yet you're asking us who we are? Ah. If it wasn't for the fact that we didn't know who you were, would we have been brought here by that woman? Fatty Chu snorted coldly. Speak, this lord doesn't want to kill nameless people. You little brats. Old Wu laughed so hard that he almost couldn't hold the long pipe in his hand. Let me tell you, this is the Great Gorge Ridge. We are the Brave Moon sect, the largest sect in the Great Gorge Ridge. This is our mine. There are so many people in your mine? Another town? Old Wu took out a leaf and rolled it up. He placed it in the pipe and smacked it twice before saying with a sneer, These are the places where we miners live. Humph humph. Now that you're here, it's better for you to obediently be our miners. Otherwise you'll suffer physical pain. Just based on the few of you, you want to keep us here? Sima Yuran took out his weapon and pointed it at Old Wu. Old Wu glanced at Little Seven and said, This little baby is indeed surprising, but this is the Brave Moon sect. He took out a whistle and blew it. Immediately, a group of black-robed men flew out from the city walls and surrounded them again. The people who came this time are not bad. Sima Yue said, Old man, do you have a teleportation portal here? Of course. We're the largest force in the entire Great Gorge Ridge. How could we not have a teleportation array? But even if there is a teleportation array, you won't have the chance to use it. You can only mine for us for the rest of your lives. Go give them the slave rings. At Old Wu's command, those people took out a pure silver necklace and looked at the few people in the middle. Coincidentally, at this moment, a huge warship sailed over. It was like a yacht in the sky. The warship arrived at the city gate and landed. A group of people holding whips appeared on the deck of the warship. Then, a group of people wearing silver collars came down from the ship one after another. Everyone had their heads down and looked very tired. At the same time, the city gates opened and a group of people walked out. They were all wearing silver necklaces and all of them had numb expressions. Their hopes for the next day could not be seen. And their collars were exactly the same as the collars in the hands of the people surrounding them. It's a slave ring. Fatty Chu recognized it at a glance. Fatty, you know? Once this thing is worn, as long as you don't take it off, you'll always be a slave. Others will know that you're a slave, and ordinary people can hunt these slaves down. Every faction has something like this. It can suppress one's strength and it can't be taken off easily. Sima Yue looked at the people getting on and off the ship. Indeed, some of them were quite powerful. However, these people obediently listened to the turtle slaves. Once they entered, they realized that it didn't look like a real city. There were only rows of houses and a few zombie-like people walking on the streets. A group of patrolling people happened to walk over. When they saw that they had caught Owu, they rushed over. However, before they could reach Sima Yue, they were all killed by Honor Rock and the others. Those people with numb expressions came over one after another. When they saw that they had caught Owu and killed so many patrolling soldiers, there was finally a ripple in their eyes. Benefactor, save me. A man wearing tattered clothes rushed in front of Sima Yue and the others. Looking at his eyes, he didn't seem to have been here for long. That was why he was still thinking of resisting and escaping. As for the others, they merely watched from the side. They didn't plan to help. There was even someone who tried to dissuade him. Kid, you should come back. So many people came in the past, but not many succeeded. Those who tried to escape were all killed. Chapter 679. That person's face flashed with a trace of struggle. Finally, he looked at Sima Yuyu and the others and said, "Please save us." Sima Yuyu did not reply immediately. She looked at the man and asked, "What's your name?" Jing Huan. Sima Yuyu looked at the familiar eyes and asked, "Who is Jing Wen to you? You know my third brother?" Jing Huan looked at Sima Yuyu in surprise. She knew that Jing Wen was the third child in the family. She really didn't expect that she would actually meet her younger brother here. "What is your ranking?" she asked again. "Sixth brother." Sima Yuyu grabbed his left hand and saw the thick calluses on his palm. Jing Wen often said, "My sixth brother is a refiner, left-handed." Sima Yuyu pulled him up and said, "How long have you been here? Do you know anything about this place?" "It's been almost half a year. I know a little about this place." Jing Huan saw Sima Yuyue's reaction and knew that she was willing to save him. Half a year was not a long time in this world, so Jing Wen and the others did not know that he had gone missing. "Do you know my third brother?" Jing Huan asked. "Yes, I do." Sima Yuyue nodded. "Don't worry, we will get you out of here." Speaking of which, Jing Wen was still Feng Er's savior. If it wasn't for the heart protection pill he refined to protect Feng Er for so many days, he wouldn't have been able to hold on until she saved him. "Thank you." Jing Huan bowed. "May I know your names?" "I'm Sima Yuyue," Sima Yuyue said. Seeing the confusion in Jing Huan's eyes, she continued, "You might not know me, but you should know Shiman Feng. You know Brother Feng?" "Yes, our relationship is pretty good. It's because of him that I met Jing Wen," Sima Yuyue said. "Let's talk about other things later. Let's deal with these things first. Follow us first." "All right." Jing Huan followed Sima Yuyu and the others as they continued to walk forward. Although Sima Yuyu and the others looked young and weak, the people behind them were unfathomably strong. They might really be able to leave. He was different from the other slaves. Although he had been here for half a year, he didn't want to accept his fate. He didn't want to stay here forever. However, he was wearing the slave ring, which suppressed his strength. Their interspatial rings had also been snatched away. He had no way of contacting Jing Wen and the others. This was the West Coast Desert. Very few people came here to begin with, and it was always heavily guarded. If they wanted to leave, the chances were zero. Sima Yuyue was his only hope. Sima Yuyue looked at the people walking out of the house. She asked Jing Huan, "Are these the people who were sold here?" "More or less. Only a very small number of people came willingly. However, even those who came willingly can't leave. Those who tried to leave were either beaten to death or put on the slave ring," Jing Huan said. "How did you get here?" Sima Yuyue asked. "I was tricked." Jing Huan said, "I traveled to Wuxia City and wanted to use the teleportation array to go to other places. However, I was sent to the West Coast Desert. I flew here for 10 days and 10 nights but couldn't find my way. Later, I met a girl who said she knew how to leave this place. So I followed her. Who knew that I would be captured and used as labor here?" Thinking about his experience, he clenched his fists. Was it a girl wearing a purplish-blue dress with a cloud ribbon around her waist? Fatty Chu asked. "You were tricked here by her too? Then where is she?" "She's dead," Sima Yuyue said. "Dead? She tricked us and still wanted to live." Sima Yuyue said, "We kindly sent her to the ghost realm. After a person died, their soul would enter the ghost realm. As for whether they could survive in the ghost realm, that was another matter. I still want to take revenge on her after I leave." Jing Huan said, "The headquarters is just ahead." "The teleportation array is here?" Sima Yuyue asked. Jing Huan nodded. "This is the only way out. The Brave Moon sect used this place to send the ores back." "You said that you were sent here when you used the teleportation array in Wuxia City?" Sima Yuyue suddenly asked. "Yes. What's wrong?" "Nothing. I just suddenly remembered that the Brave Moon sect probably had some ulterior motives." "Ulterior motives?" Jing Huan didn't understand. "Yes." Sima Yuyue pointed at the people on the street. "Look at these people. They're all wearing slave rings. This means that they didn't want to stay here. Even if the teleportation array between the cities is different, it's impossible to send people to such a remote place like the West Coast Desert. It's only when people are here that you can come here and become their slaves." "But why don't they send people here directly?" Sima Yuyu asked. "Because they can't be sure if there's anyone powerful among the people sent here. If they send people here directly, what if they meet someone powerful? Can they still protect this place?" Sima Yuyue said, "And if they send people to the West Coast Desert, if the other party is powerful, they should be able to walk out on their own. If they meet someone weaker, they won't be able to do anything even if they're tricked into coming here. What a despicable Brave Moon sect. Jing Huan said hatefully. That's why I'm thinking that there should be many people like you. Who knows, there might be many people with illustrious identities among them. Sima Yue said. You're thinking of? Sima Yulin looked at Sima Yue and understood what she meant. It's fine if we didn't encounter this. But we've encountered it and they almost tricked us as well. We naturally can't just stand by and watch. I was still hesitating before. Since the Brave Moon sect is the #1 sect here, they're definitely not weak. But if there are many people from other powers among them, then things will be easier. Sima Yue said with a smile. That's right. Those who were tricked naturally won't let the Brave Moon sect off so easily. If they return to their own sect, they'll definitely report this matter. Their own sect members are trapped here mining, so those powers definitely won't let the Brave Moon sect off so easily. When the time comes, many people will come looking for them. Even if they're the #1 sect, they won't be able to get anything out of it. Wei Ziqi continued. You want to release everyone here? Sima Yuran asked. That's right. Before we release them we have to tell them the truth. Otherwise they'll think that they were accidentally sent here. Sima Yue said. Those who tricked them wouldn't be let off so easily. Jing Huan's eyes shone, saying, I know a few people. They're also from large sections. Furthermore, 2 of them have high statuses. Chapter 680. Their identities are not bad? How bad are they? Sima Yu asked. One is the young master of a sect, and the other is the disciple of an elder. Jing Huan said, I don't know what their sect is called and they didn't say. I think they're afraid of losing face for their sect. Since there's a young master of a sect here, there should be people with other identities as well. I think they won't say it for the sake of their own sect or clan's face. However, if they really get their freedom and go back, they will take revenge. Sima Yulin said. Then we can tell them what the Brave Moon sect did. This way those who haven't figured it out will understand how they suffered all these years. Sima Yuming said. That's a good idea, but we have to settle things here first. Sima Yulin said. What's going on here? Fatty Chu asked. Stupid. Wei Ziqi poked his head. We're already standing in front of the main house. What do you think we have to do? Of course we have to take care of the Brave Moon sect. I thought it was something big. Is this even a problem for us? Fatty Chu rubbed his forehead. In his opinion, it really wasn't a problem. Alright, even if it's not a problem we still have to deal with it. Sima Yu said, Jing Huan, do you know how many people are here? Jing Huan shook his head. If we're not mining in the mines, we're in our own houses. We can't move around as we please. Even if we're working, there are supervisors watching over us. Then how did you talk to those people? When we were mining in the mines, the supervisor complained that the environment was not good, so he would slack off on the surface. Jing Huan said. There was no need to elaborate. Everyone could imagine what kind of life Jing Huan and the others were living here. Can you take this off? Sima Yu pointed at the slave collar around his neck. We have to ask him. Jing Huan said. They had been here for so long, but they had never seen anyone take it off. This kind of slave collar usually has a key. Fatty Chu said. He definitely knows how many people are here. Ouyang Fei said. Old man Wu was already dizzy from the beating. He felt dizzy and weak all over. Now that he was being stared at by a few pairs of eyes, he was scared half to death. Speak, how many people are inside? Sima Yuqi placed a knife on old Wu's neck. Even if you kill me, I won't say a word. Old Wu felt that he was quite strong-willed. Kill you? Sima Yuqi glanced at him. Wouldn't killing you be letting you off too easily? Don't worry, if you don't tell us, we have ways to make you beg for death. Old Wu felt a chill in his heart when he saw the deep meaning in his eyes. If he had any sense, he would have killed himself by biting his tongue. However, he couldn't bear to lose his life, and he didn't believe that they could deal with the people in the headquarters. The power of the Brave Moon sect was not something they could deal with. However, he thought of what they said just now. If these slaves were all released, the Brave Moon sect would definitely face the biggest disaster in history. Yu, why don't you use your fire to burn one of his legs so that he can't walk in the future? Little Seven said, Sai, why don't we just burn one of his hands? Let's burn his leg. If we burn his leg, we'll burn more things. Long legs, more meat. Anyway, he doesn't plan to tell us the situation inside. Okay, whatever Little Seven says. Sima Yu patted Little Seven's head lovingly. This little guy had such a black-bellied side. Old Wu's pupils constricted. He thought of Sima Yuyu's terrifying fire. If one of his legs was really burned, it would be worse than death. Sima Yuyu shot out a flame and the surrounding air became hot. She looked at old Wu's 2 legs and asked Little Seven, "Little Seven, which leg do you think should be burned?" "The right leg." Little Seven casually pointed. "Little Seven, you're pointing at the left leg." Fatty Chu subconsciously reminded her. "The left leg? Then let's burn the left leg." Little Seven did not care if she made a mistake and said disapprovingly. Sima Yuyu looked at old Wu and said, "I'll ask you one last time. Are you going to tell us the situation inside?" "No." Old Wu gritted his teeth and said. He did not believe that they would harm him, an important hostage, without knowing the enemy's situation. However, in the next second, a bone-piercing pain came from his left leg. He subconsciously wanted to scream, but Sima Yuyu fed him a pill. He could not scream and could only let out a hoarse cry. Ah, ah. The fire burned very slowly under Sima Yuyu's control. Old Wu watched in horror as his left leg turned to ashes bit by bit. He could only make simple sounds. Ah, ah. He looked at Sima Yuyu in agony, his body trembling uncontrollably. He was willing to talk, he was willing to talk. "Hurry up and stop. Stop." However, Sima Yuyu did not stop because of his gaze. She waited until the fire had completely burned his left leg before she waved her hand and retracted the fire. "You want to talk now?" Sima Yuyu said as she played with the fire. Old Wu was still hesitant. "If you don't want to talk, I won't force you." Sima Yuyu said, "Anyway, you're not the only person from the Brave Moon sect here. I'll ask them after I burn you bit by bit." After she finished speaking, she looked at the others. Seeing old Wu's one-legged appearance, the others subconsciously retracted their legs. No. I'll talk. 2 hours later, Sima Yuyu and the rest were already sitting in the main hall of the headquarters. The people from the Brave Moon sect had all been subdued by them. Sima Yuyu looked at the people in the courtyard and was a little puzzled. This was obviously a very important mine. How could there not be a single top expert here? I asked just now. They said that the experts who were in charge of this place had been summoned back these 2 days. Sima Yuchi explained to everyone. This meant that they came in so smoothly this time because they were lucky. It just so happened that the experts were not around. She knew it, such a big mine, how could there not be any experts in the sect? "Do you know when those experts will be back?" she asked. Although there were a few old monsters around, the other party was still the biggest sect in the territory. How could they not have some background? And this mine was so important to the sect. If they knew that something had happened here, it would cause a lot of trouble. "I don't know when they'll be back. In order to avoid trouble, we have to settle things here as soon as possible," Sima Yu said. She glanced at Fatty Chu, who was eating spirit fruit, and said, "Do you know how to break this kind of slave ring?" You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.